Hello, welcome back. Lesson 6 now of Bagua Complete Basics. We're carrying on with the form, going into palm change number 3. Please have a look at the previous lessons, don't just jump straight into lesson 3, of course. Sorry, not lesson 3, palm change number 3, lesson 6. You've got 5 previous lessons, have a look at those first, so you're not confused as to anything I'm saying in this lesson. Alright, let's just get straight into the form, I guess. Nothing else to talk about, we're just continuing where we left off. Okay, so we've walked around the circle once after the second palm change. So we've come through, la-di-da, and come back to our starting point. Right, we start exactly the same again as the first and second palm changes. No differences here, bang, bang. You can either do it softly or with that extra little bump, your choice. So, exactly the same start. Alright, from here, what are we doing? Third palm change. Okay, here's where we got, well, we start with something similar and then transfer into something different. So we start here like the first palm change. Like we're going to turn out and like we did in the number 1 palm change. But we're not going to come back again. We're going to stay out this time. So we've come to here. We're going to turn out like so. Exactly the same. That's the same as the first palm change. We're going to go into the flower hides under leaf, just like the first palm change. What? Like so. Here's where it changes. I'll just do it like that, the correct direction, then I'll show you what the hands are doing. Okay, so, looks like this. Okay, that's what we want to look at. So, do it towards the camera. Turned out, flower hides under leaf. Just like previously, you turn your waist, oh sorry, no, but that will be the next move. So let's just take it to here first. So flower hides under leaf, like so. You just slightly turn to your left, fractionally. Now, remember last time we turned to our left, we kept turning as we did the dig. So we dropped that right shoulder down and digged, and then thrust the right hand up overhead and came back into the center. It's sort of similar start, but it's a very different movement on the end. So we've come to here. I'll just show you the hands. Your hands are effectively going to do this. Like so. Okay? So the left hand just rolls to palm up. That's like there's a light little motion of grabbing there as well. So it's not a dig like the other one, it's more just a roll down. Whereas the right hand just rolls outward like that to a yang hand. Like so. Okay, so your hands are like this, flower hides under leaf, just roll the left hand on the inside, right hand on the outside. But as you do that, you're simply going to turn your waist to your left and then to your right, or well, back to center. So I'm here, I'm going to keep turning into my left. 1, 2. So I'm back to center, you see. I haven't turned over here somewhere, I'm just here, like so. Okay, that's what we're going to do for this next posture. We've turned, this will be outside the circle, remember, just doing it to face the camera. 1, 2. So you can look at it from a very, very basic point of view and do it from here and go 1, 2. I don't like doing it like that even for beginners. You know, there's just nothing happening. You're not learning anything by just shaping your arms. Oh, I guess you're learning just the structure of where to place your arms. So just as a simple stepping stone in your own training, and when I say stepping stone, I mean like 5-minute stepping stone. I don't mean train it like this for a year. Come into posture and then just move the arms, you see, just to give you the awareness of where your arms should be before you start twisting and churning your body. So just say to yourself, okay, one hand up, one hand down. Okay, once you've got that in your head, like so, then just turn your waist to the left and to the right. 1, 2. See? Very fractional turn. The most important thing here is not actually so much the left and the right, but as the squeeze and the open, just like we did in the first palm change. So although you do turn slightly to your left and slightly to your right, the primary focus is this. So as I start the movement, as soon as that foot's hit the ground, when my foot touches the ground, just like in the number 1 palm change, when it hits the ground, I start to dip down fractionally, pulling like I'm grabbing something with this hand, slight compression and then a lifting up, like so. See, it's just a settling. So you turn left and compress, right and just center into the posture, you see. So don't go like 1, 2, because see how I'm centered slightly off center? Go 1, 2, like that. See how I just face the center to finish. That's all you got to think about. Is face out of the center to finish. I'm confusing myself now. So in the form, we're going to be turned here. So when I say face center, I mean directly out of the center. So I would be, let's say I would be here. I would go off center to the left as I scoop and compress, slightly to my right, and then just bang, back to here. The weight is still in the left leg as I do that posture. A little controlling weight in the right leg, but I'm still primarily over the left leg when I do it. Okay, let's just do it one more time for the camera, see if we can give you any more. That's what we want to look at, you see. Hands are like that, very similar to that posture that we came out of in the second palm change, only it's a little bit more closed, you see. The other one was more palms in line, this is more like so the forearms are a little bit more crossed like that. So just have a look at the motion of the movement. You turn out, just after that foot hits the ground, you start to compress downwards slightly as this hand starts to dig, and then as you stand up, you lift that hand up over your head, so you see your arms going up at the same time as you're opening up your spine. So that's giving you that upward thrust, but because you're turning to the right as well, that's giving you some intention to the right, indicating the application, which you'll see in a moment. So we get 1, 2, center, okay, like that. That's your final posture to come into. After that, you're simply going to, well, this is probably one of the most difficult postures that you will come across in your training. Right, third palm change. Starts the same, take the head, break the guy's neck. So next movement from here, we apply this posture again, which is the same application. He's coming through with that one, we're yielding to it and striking him in here, nothing different. The difference here is going to be to the next posture. It'd be best if we go this way. Okay, from here, same thing. You're almost going to do the flower hides underleaf. So we're almost going to do this and this again. So we start the same. So we strike him in here. We take the knee out. We still twist the wrist. But remember, this is this posture. Like so. Remember I said in the solo form, the lifting of the hand over the head is for stretching. It's not for the martial application. The martial application will vary dependent, of course, on the height of your opponent. But I've taken him in here. I'm going to yank his arm across and come straight through up under his ribs like this. Now, in the case of Chris, because he's shorter than I am, it's a very low posture, of course. You could equally take that over and do the posture here. That wouldn't be exactly the same as it's done in the form, because, of course, in the form, the right arm rotates on the outside of the left arm. So, of course, if this is on the outside of the left arm, it's indicating it's an under-the-arm technique. You could, of course, however, just for the martial purposes of it, this strike here, for example, could have even been into the head. You could have taken the elbow there, and then come through to the temple. So the body mechanics are the same. This is what I mean on this set of videos. This is just the basic learning of the form. I'm not going to give you every single application. For me to teach you every single application, it would take me another 5 DVD series to put down all those applications. So of course we're focusing on the form here. I'm just giving you some sort of 1 or 2 of the main applications to give you a picture in your mind when you're doing the solo form. I'll put out a new series of just applicational work, so that way you can work with all sorts of different applications. In the meantime, you should take your practice. Don't change your form. Your form stays the same as is taught in the solo form. But for the application, as I say, that one there, you might think like, oh, hang on, oh, what if I put it up here? It doesn't matter if it's not identical to the form, like, oh, this hand's up the inside rather than the outside. It's much of a muchness. The body mechanics are still the same. It's done one way in the form, but application can vary. So I could put the strike in here, I could take the elbow here, or I could take the elbow over the top, I could do the strike here. There's all sorts of different variations. So that's what we're getting there. We're pulling him forward and striking him straight up. It's still a lifting movement, it's not a straight in movement, it's an upward lift because, again, this would be preferably done to a taller attacker, but because I'm pulling him across, you see what's going to happen to his body. So if he was standing totally upright, it'd be better for me, of course, to hit straight in. Any upward force is just going to brush, it's just going to dissipate. But whoa, you see, now, boom, I'm getting that upward lift up underneath his ribs. Now, switching sides, if you do that to me, so you've got the elbow, see, like so, yeah, see, it fits a little better if the person's taller. He's more comfortable in that kind of a position, you see. Okay, from there we do the spin. So we struck him, we've got the spin now, coming around the drilling palm. So what we have here is, we finish this guy off, like so. Remember, we've got the little twist to the right first. So we twist to the right, keep in mind in the form the hand's up here, so it's just a little movement like that. In application, depending on where you are, will depend on how big that movement has to be. So from here, I do a little twist to the right, as I take his arm furthermore, and then what? I've got his wrist here, and I strike him in the back of the head. And notice as I put my weight further down into that right knee and twist, watch just the lower body, you see what's going to happen to him just by me simply doing the twist. That's going to dig in, my hip's going to knock him there, and he's going to get an elbow in the back of the head, and he's just going to land down there to the side of me on the floor. So that's what we're looking at there. Striking here with the lifting action, hook it around and elbow the back of the head, wrist, and take his knee out with that posture. Okay, so carrying on to this next movement, we have turned out of the circle, pressed down, lifted up, and centered. Okay, watch what the body does. Heels on the circle, toes turned in, pigeon-toed. Weight's in the left leg, like so. You're only slightly in the left leg now. When you turn in, as I said, when you step, it's an empty step. No weight in that whatsoever. Now, I'm approximately maybe 60 or 70% in that left leg. Right. So we come around. See, there's a bit more controlling influence in that right leg now. So I'd say probably about 70% or so in that left leg. See? Okay, watch what the waist does now. There's a little turn to the right as you take your left palm and place it on your lower spine, like so. So we've done that. We're centered directly outside the circle. Now watch what the body does. See that? So you literally just take your left hand, which is here, and just place the back of your palm on your lower back, right across your spine, like that. As you do that, though, you simply turn to your right. Okay? So you're there like that. Turn your center, your waist, slightly to your right as your hand sneaks behind, like so. As you do that, also you shift now further into your right leg. So I'm now primarily on my right side. Like that, so it's, see, like that. So just turn your waist slightly to the right, like you're loading up the posture. And again, this is not a load. Have a look at the Marshall application. You'll see why. You've hit him here. You're bringing it around and hitting him across the neck with that elbow. So it's not technically a load as such. It looks like it effectively is a wind up into the next movement. However, from what I've been saying before, it's not winding up for the sake of winding up. You're winding up because of what's happening in the Marshall application. Okay, so you've gone there. Turn slightly to your right as you take this over. You're actually looking over your left shoulder now. One. As here, you're just looking straight out, okay? Like that. As I do this next movement, see that? I'm looking out here. I'm not tilting the head over like I did with the chicken posture. I'm just slightly gazing out the left corner of my eye as I come around. I'm going to look then around as I spin and try to look to that direction that I'm going to. So effectively, you're here, this is the direction I'm going to be going to. You're trying to look to that direction, but over your left, because that's the direction we're going to be coming around into. Okay, so we've done that. Turn to the right. That's pretty simple. Shift your weight to your right leg. You're almost, 80% say, in the right leg now. So you're pretty well down in the right leg. Okay, your next movement consists of this. Okay, that's your next posture. It's a very, very difficult posture to get. It's all teaching about coordination. It's not one of the most martially orientated postures, but it's a fantastic coordination tool for your body. So legs first, weights in the right leg. Watch the legs. You're going to simply, you've already turned to the right, of course, because of that movement. So you're going to twist from the center, and then your leg will come around, like so. So you're using the momentum of the waist to bring that foot around. Notice I'm swiveling on the right heel, just like we have in several other postures. So I'm twisting like so. And I finish so that my left foot is just across the circumference of the circle again, like so. So I would place like the walking again, place the ball of that left foot across the circle, heel of the right foot in the circle. Okay, so from there, you've turned to the right, just twist your body like so. That gives you some torque. See, then your foot comes around, maintaining your balance in that rear leg. It's not one where you have to maintain the balance like that and keep the foot off the ground. You can just come around and touch your toe on the ground in this case, like so. Well, your whole foot rather will touch on the ground as you get there. Now the tricky thing is, you've got to sweep the leg, but drill the palm. So notice how the leg is not doing this. It's not stepping through the circle. It's sweeping through the center of the circle and coming back to the circumference, right? So it's going through the center of the circle. The left palm, however, just fix up my carpet here. The left palm, however, must drill, you see, straight to its point. What this posture teaches you is coordination, because your upper and lower bodies are doing something different. What you will do is, when you first try to do this move, unless you've got fantastic coordination, what most people do is, they'll either do this, see that? I'll do it towards the camera, this way. So, you see, both the leg and the hand swept into the movement, or what other people will do is they'll do that. So the leg followed the hand. So one portion of your body will follow what the other portion of your body is doing, depending on where your focus is. If you're thinking about the leg, your hand will do the same thing. If you're thinking about the hand, the leg will do the same thing. So you have to try to get your leg to sweep while your hand drills. A good way to do this is get a friend from this point to grab your finger here and pull it forward. See, like he's pulling your fingers forward. So he grabs your fingers. As he pulls your finger forward, you just let your foot sweep around from the side. So you're getting those two different dynamics working in harmony together as you come around into your posture like so. The final posture is just there, like about chest height. And the right hand, I've shown you that yet, which is overhead. So you've turned to your right. As you take that around back, now you release it as you turn to your left and start to drill that palm over. The right palm just pushes down straight in front of your body, like so. So that's just sort of in front of your right hip, like so, and the left fingers are pushing forward. That's a number 5 palm, of course, the wind palm, and the right palm is basically a number 3, but of course facing down to the ground. So that's the posture you want to come into in one motion. Everything together. You see? Make sure you draw your toes up, just like any weighted heel swivel. So don't let this happen and mess up your carpet. Make sure that you pick up your toes and then place them back into the ground, to grip the ground, to stop all that momentum, of course, going forward. One thing to think about to stop your momentum from doing something like this and carrying on that way is to think where the power's going. That's what your left hand does. So your left hand, think that way. Don't just think like, put your hand there, because then your momentum will keep going. Think in your mind, okay, my left fingers has to strike to that direction, sort of going off at a tangent to the circle, like so. So that's your final posture, like this. Another thing to note with the left palm, watch how the left palm, it never goes down. I'll just do this slowly, without doing the spin correctly. Watch the left palm, see how it's coming out, and straight up into that posture that it's at. Another common error that people make is they extend the arm down and then lift the arm up. We don't want to do that. Okay, coming into the actual drilling palm, he's coming through with maybe a low left punch in here or something. So, you see, I'm slamming this down like so. As this hand comes through, fingers into the neck, like so. That hand there could also represent, if he was throwing an upper shot, you see, it could be like a slip block again. So spinning around, just the upper one, you see, rather than coming directly to the neck, you're getting a slip block bouncing off the arm. and into the neck, like so. In the form, we go straight to the neck. It's not an outward curve back to the neck. As I say, application, you can vary it dependent on where your partner is coming from. The form movement is assuming his punch is coming very, very center line. If it was a slight hook punch, of course I'd have to vary the move and go out to meet it. Otherwise, I'm going to get hit when I hit him. So, we're assuming it's very, very center line, in which case, when I do my move straight to his neck, bah, it's still going to ricochet his arm out because of the angle of what's happening there. There is one other application for this one. It's not exactly as it's done in the form, but it's a nice little training method you can do with your partner. And it involves, this way, so it involves him coming through with the right punch there. There's my block, there's my slip block, you see? So there's that posture. It's totally different to the form. We're not coming back into the movement, we're coming forward into the movement. But it's a variation. So I'll just give you this one because it's a very good training method. You would never use this in a real fight. It's a totally abstract application, but it's a really good body coordination tool. So, remember, I've struck him. Never try to do anything fancy unless you've hit him. Bang. From here, just hold your arm up a little bit. We've struck him in there. I'm going to take this hand through. You see? Covering his elbow. I'm striking straight across his leg with that one, and my right arm is coming across his neck, like so. Now, in that case, Chris had his neck covered there, so in which case that's fine, but he's still going to get this happening. So if he covers that, he's going to get hit here. If he sees the leg, maybe he'll get hit in the neck or something like that. That's the idea. As I say, you'd never use this in a real fight. But it's a really good body coordination tool because you have to get your right arm, or whichever side you're doing it on, to spiral across his chest, like so, whilst the leg sweeps around into the back of his legs. Now what you'll probably find when you've been doing the solo form, you'll be doing one of two things. You'll either be doing this, you see, that's the leg and the hand going straight. They're both doing the same thing. Or the leg and the hand both sweep. So neither of those will work. If I sweep with both, that's not going to work. I mean, okay, I could slap him in the back of the head, but the technique's not correct. Or if I step through, see, now I'm both on the same side. So you've got to swivel on the left heel, sweep with the leg, you see, but drill with the palm, like so. And as I say, again, this one works better with someone your own size or taller, because as I spin, of course, he could very easily drop that elbow down onto me, and I can't get that on, you see. But assuming I was down here, with that one coming up, that's actually where I want to be, like that, about that height. And when I practice this on my taller students, it fits a little better. But for the purpose of the coordination training, you can do it with anyone, it doesn't matter. Okay, coming out of that one to this side. Okay, so the left hand, notice how it's bent. It's a timing thing to make sure that your hand extends at the right time with reference to your body. The common error is they extend it too soon. If you extend the arm now, the arm's going to go down, like so. And then when you come around, it's going to be a lifting action. We don't want that. We want a thrusting, like a poking. Think this is the strike with your fingertips. So as you come around, you've got to hold, keep your fingers, like it's called a drilling palm, so drilling them over. So keep your fingers facing where they're going. But notice how the arm's still bent. And then only once you're sort of further around to the front, there's the strike on the top of the movement. Like that, you see? It's about this sort of height. So, think lift is probably the best thing you can think about. So don't let it go down. Think lift the hand up. It's okay if the shoulder dips a little bit down here. You don't have to think stay absolutely bolt upright. I'm not saying to spiral down into it or anything like that, but from this very upright position, see as I'm coming around, there's just a little bit of a slight tucking of the body, and that allows that hand to stay up. If I stand right up, and even if I express out the other way, that will push my hand down. I can't get it up to where it wants to go. So there's a little bit of this going on, you see? So, little turn to the right, take the hand behind your back, and spin around. So, okay, so just really practice that one, because I can't tell you how many times I've taught in classes and workshops, and we've done that move. People who have been studying Bagua for a long time, even my own style of Bagua, and they come and do that move, and that move's quite often wrong. So really focus on the details of that move. Getting the primary focus is hand and foot, hand and foot rather. See, really exaggerate it. To get that idea that the foot is sweeping and the hand is drilling. But then, of course, as I've been demonstrating, the actual posture itself, you turn to the right, you see, it's just that. So the left leg, it just comes through here, you see. I'm not saying to do like a big, sweeping action like that. Okay, carrying on from there. From this position, we're going to do almost the same thing again. Just the hands start in a slightly different position. But basically, we're going to do this movement again, exactly the same posture as we've done from here. So it's this type of action again. It's only the first one that we did, which was the lateral action. Oh, sorry, we do that again in the 7th palm change from here when we strike out with both. But the feet are different. That's a very different posture, although the hands are the same. So yeah, so far what we've done, whenever you've seen this kind of action, it's only the very first one that is a double outward slap. All the rest of the ones we've done from down here or from here and now from here have that forward and back intention, like yielding to something here and pumping that hand out into the ribs, things like this. Okay, so where were we? Here, like so. Left toe is on the line, right heel is on the line. Feet are parallel in this particular stance. Okay, turn out of the center exactly as before. Turn the foot, turn the hands. No difference, like so. Okay, from here, the footwork's the same again. The footwork is exactly the same as what we've just done, but the hands do something different. So I'll just do it like that first. Okay, this is what we want. This is called the lone pigeon flies to heaven. I believe it's called that because I saw a documentary once about pigeons. I may not be correct about this, but I'm pretty sure that's what they said, that a pigeon is the only bird, minus things like hummingbirds, any proper bird, which can fly vertically upwards. It can stand here and just fly straight up. Any other bird kind of has to take off at a slight angle in order to fly. You'll notice any other bird, they'll always take off at an angle because they don't have the mechanics, I guess, to be able to fly vertically up from the spot they're on. Pigeons do, and I think that they're the only animal that can do that. Any bird that can do that. So that's why they use pigeon. The pigeon flying to the heavens, like so, to represent why it's going straight up, you see. Even though there is a slight curve to the center, but the arm motion is going straight up, meaning it's not like the goose posture, for example, the flock of wild geese bursting out, that had a curve to it, because that's how geese take off. Okay, so we turn out, very similar movement. You see, you turn out, you can press down, scooping that left hand, and lifting up. But now I'll show you the hands facing the camera. Okay, so we've turned out to here. Almost the same as the flower hides under the leaf in the first palm change, where we did this movement and we came back to there. The start of it is basically the same, but watch the right hand from here. So we've turned out. Now look, as the foot comes through, the left hand's going to do the dig, just like we did here, exactly the same, but the right hand does something different. From here, the right hand is going to scoop and come up your center line, like that, you see? So it's not going to come around sort of to underneath your elbow. Okay, so we turn out to here, we pull it around, see that? And you watch the hand go up. Not with your neck, do not kink your neck like this. Keep your head straight and look up with your eyes, following that hand upwards. Okay, so turn out of the circle. That's a repeat, no need to go over that. Hook the foot, hook the hand. But see how the hand dips this time. So it's a slightly different movement. Rather than the hand, that's kind of like the hand doing the same thing as the foot, like what we've already done in 2 previous postures. Now, of course, from here, as soon as you start, think of it as, okay, there's the strike. Even though this flows through, in your mind you know that's where that strike would have been. As soon as you've hit that point, so that point, of course, with reference back onto the circle, that point would be there on the line, on the circumference. As soon as you pass the circumference, the hand starts to do its dipping motion. So back to the other direction so you can see. From there, imagine this hand's over the circumference of the circle. As soon as you then start to move, see this hand starts to scoop as you're stepping. So we get, so the fingers are sort of scooped in ready when that foot touches the ground. So the timing is a little bit, well, no, I guess it's kind of the same, because from here, last time we went 1, so it got to here as the foot touched the ground. Now we're going 1, you see, foot on the ground, but the fingers are up this way. The direction of the palm, because it's scooped, the palm is slightly facing outward, and then of course as it spirals up, the palm will be facing towards you, you see, like that, and like that. Just a simple open hand going straight up above your head. Okay, so timing wise, 1, 2, so the both hands kind of scoop, you see, like this, but then the right hand scoops up the inside of the left arm this time. Remember the last one, the right hand was on the outside, now the right hand is scooping up the inside of the posture, like so. As you do that, you turn slightly back to your right, so as we're coming in, we're turning to our left, just like before, turning left on the scoop. As I lift up, I turn slightly to my right, just past the center. As in center, as I say, I'm not facing into the center, I'm facing out. But here would be centered, I'm a little bit off to the right. So remember the last movement, we finished the move, we turn to the left, we turn slightly to the right, and then we centered, like so. The application, I'm not going to teach you how to do it as a strike yet, because you've got to get the basics down first, but you'll see in the application section of the video, this movement is more like a snapback. You're hitting with the base of this elbow, but bouncing off what you're hitting. It's a recoiled movement. Whereas the pigeon flies to heaven, you're pushing through your target, okay? And it'll make more sense when you see the application. But that's all you need to know. This one, it's like you're hitting something and bouncing back rather than hitting something and crushing through your target. So it's giving you the two different options here. This one is more of a recoiled movement. This one, you've got his arm in the left hand and you're pulling him down and then smashing your forearm across under his neck and jaw. So you still do the upward movement. Like I explained in this posture, we stretch the arm to get the stretches in the body. In application, realistically, his head would probably be somewhere here. So the application would be somewhere like this. We do it in the form like this to activate and stretch these muscles down through the body. So that's why the hand actually lifts over your head. Okay, so scoop to the left. There's the both hands scooping in this case, rather than just the one hand scooping and then lifting up. As soon as you've done that move, both hands scoop. The one hand comes up the center, the other one comes down the outside, like it's just rolling, like so. That's a very simplified way of doing it. You can take this hand under, see, scoop it up as the left hand cascades down. But really it should have that lateral pull on the posture, indicating grabbing that arm. So we take it around, scoop both the hands like so. See how the both hands are on the center line of the body? So from here, the left hand's on the center. As I scoop this hand in, both hands are on the center line of the body. And then as I lift up, they hold that center line, but of course one goes up, one goes down. As I turn my waist to my right, but I stay to the right this time. Remember, if here's centered as such, I'm just here. See, don't do it like this and turn somewhere over here into the posture. I'll do it the correct direction again. See? So I'm just there, just a little bit to my right, as opposed to like sending yourself over here. Just send yourself slightly to your right. There's a slight angle to that elbow. It's not vertical like that. The forearm has a slight angle to the posture. The weight is still in the left leg. The weighting is the same as the previous posture that we did. Okay. Now we go into a variation of the spin. So we do a similar movement to what we did before, but it's just a different variation of the move. So we've done it here, there. Now notice we're already turned to the right. So this time, from the previous move, the one where we came straight up, we turned to the right as the hand went behind the back. then we spun through. This time it's a little bit different. We come around, do the scoop, lift up to the right. Okay, so there's your posture. Now, you're going to take the hand behind your back as you turn to the left. So it's the opposite, okay, because we're already turned to the right. So from here, I don't need to turn to the right to do this next application because I've done a different application to start with. So I can turn to my right here for the pigeon posture. Now I'm going to turn straight into my left, you see? So this posture that we got into in the previous move, we were here, then we took the hand to the rear and got to that posture. Then we spun. So it was more broken down into two sections. So we went 1, 2, spin. Now we're going 1. Now this posture, the taking the hand over the head and the putting the left hand behind the back, that's done as you spin, not before you spin. So we've come up to here. Now I'm turned to my right. As my hands do this, you see, I start to move into the posture. So I'll just show you the difference of the two, just so you don't get confused. So from here, this is the first one, very, very start of the form, okay? Turn to the right, center, turn to the right as you pull the hand around, and now spin through to the front. Then we go into the next one, the pigeon posture, okay? Turn out, that's the same. Scoop the hand up the center line, turn to the left, compressing, open your body and turn to the right, slightly off center, like so. Now turn to the left. See? So it's all one flowing action now. So you're going to turn to the left, from here. Start turning to your left. Also, the other thing that's different is the weight shift. So we've still got our weight in our left leg, here. So the weight shift also happens as you start to spin rather than before you start to spin. Okay, so here, a lot of stuff's got to happen all together now, so it's a little bit more difficult. Here, start the hands moving, start your weight shifting, start spinning. The legs do exactly the same as last time, no difference in the legs. So don't need to go over that again. But watch the, let's do the easy parts first. The right hand does exactly the same thing as last time, pushing down, but we're not going to do the drilling palm this time. Watch what the left hand does. It's going to come up into the breast posture, holding the moon in your breast. So from here, you're going to drill the hand. This time you're going to do what I told you not to do in the previous move. You're going to drill the hand down, like so, and then fold it up into this kind of shape. If you've practiced any Taiji forms, this is pung. This is your pung shape. The only difference is in pung we're on the front leg usually. The breast posture is on the rear leg, so it's a very similar shape in the arm. Okay, so here, see that? Try and slow down what that hand's doing. You extend it out. Like, think of it, it's not really, well, it is a strike, I guess, but it's a very subtle strike. Don't go like, and then into the next movement. Watch what the hand does. It's just, see that? It's a very subtle movement. Just a slight little flexing of the hand there. That's kind of like the drilling palm in that it's going in that straight direction, in that you're not swinging it around in some way. So you're still drilling the hand, but once it goes yang, you see? It folds up this way into its posture. So that's where we're looking at. The hand's going yang and then folded up to a yin position, and you've struck down with your right palm. Okay, one more time. Here, you've already turned to your right. Fold into the movement. Hand posture, spin, and weight shift all together. When your feet get there, your hands should get to this position. So that lower strike, that should kind of be happening, I guess, sort of roughly, I don't know, when your foot's just passing through the center, for example, there, and then as your foot comes from the center to the circle, your hands are coming up into posture, into the final posture. So just make sure that when your foot stops, your hands stop. So for example, you're not doing something like like that. You know, that's separated. We're trying to get the body to work together as a unit. We're here, so spin. See, that's what we want. You might be seeing a few little extra things there. I'm getting that little compression and opening. I'm not going to go too much into detail of that in the beginner's video. I want you to focus majorly on the structure for this move and the coordination between the hands. I don't want you worrying about advanced principles for this one. See, in some of the other postures, like this one, for example, there's really nothing else happening. It's just the arms moving. So we can give you that little movement where we can press down and open up. Whereas with this posture, there's so much other stuff going on, you should focus on that first. Once you've got all this other stuff happening and doing it right, then you can start looking at what the core is doing. Quite a lot with the way that we teach the Bagua and the Taiji system is simply that if you learn the hand structures, your body will start to follow them. So with let's say the drilling palm, by that hand drilling over, you see, your body will then start to follow that drill. You won't just go, you know, like this, like holding totally straight. Your body will start these little spirals and curves and yin and yang changes in the palms. Your body starts to go, oh, that looks nice, and it literally follows your hands. It learns from your hands. But as beginners, it's easier to think about what the hands are doing rather than me trying to teach you to do that with your center, because as a beginner you can't see what's happening. You have to learn the gross structures first, then we go into detail of the other areas. Okay, so we've got that down. You've mastered it, haven't you? Turn in, flex up. Okay? Go away. Go on. I'm busy. Okay. I'm not crazy. That was a little B if you couldn't see that. I wasn't just talking to myself. Right, next move. From here, we're again doing this move. Oh, we've got the pigeon. Pigeon flies to heaven. Same application, only he's coming through with the open side this time, with a right strike. So same thing, yields to that, but of course the strike's coming through to the front of his body, just because of the angle of the application. So I've slammed him straight into the solar plexus again, or down in line with that nipple on the left side, the right side, like so. In this case, because of where he's positioned, I'm going to get the center line of his body. But it's something low in down here. So, like so. Remember, it's a give and receive type of movement. Remember, it's not a pushing out. It's push forward and yield back with this one. Okay, from here, remember I've already hit him, so I can now manipulate his body. I've slammed him in there, I've got his arm, so that's going to start turning and pushing his body backwards after I've struck him. I bring this foot in just to check his leg. It's not going to be a kick to the knee this time because I'm on his open side, like so. Now what's going to happen here is as I strike him here further, the initial attack, there's the initial attack, that's a strike. But now I'm going to sort of shove him backwards. But I'm going to twist this arm up. Now see, even just that little bit without the other part, and I'm not doing it very hard, you can see the direction his body is taking. So, bang, I'm now going to go, wah, you see? Now if I did that much more violently, just tilt your head down a little bit further, this is going to happen. You see, he's going to tilt down. Now watch what my right hand's going to do. Boom! Straight up, you see? So that's what's happening with the pigeon flying to the heaven, like so. Pushing through here. This is the scoop and the lift, remember, from the solo form. So we squeeze that down, bringing his head down, and strike. Straight up the side of his jaw, or the neck, or the temple, whatever's there. It's a very powerful shot, so you don't really need to worry about what you're hitting. You're going to do damage anyway. That's why in the form, we're not ending up exactly centered, we're slightly across to the side. Remember the difference of the two applications. The previous one, this posture, the application, when I hit it, I'll just use the upper one just to demonstrate, but the application here to the strike, or here, is boom, you see? It's recoiled, it bounces back. So when we do the form, that's why we're centered out. We're not pushing through the target. However, this one, the pigeon flies to heaven, you see? It's still got recoil to it, you're not totally throwing through, but it's a deeper shot. It's like, if that's his neck, for example, the previous one is like that, it's shallow. Whereas this one now, boom, you see, it's got a bit more weight behind it and it shoves through a little further. So, sorry, that one. Bow, wah, bow, like so. From here, because we've already turned to the right, we don't need to do that little turn to the right. So we've already got him, because I've still got him here, you see. If I let him go, I'd lose him. So I keep this locked on as this is coming up. That's going to further the pressure to his neck. Bang, now look where my hand is. Boom. Just fold it straight in and you've got your elbow. So same application as on the other side now. Take him across there. Oh, the only difference is this time, again, you're not going to be getting the knee and the twisting of the arm and all of that stuff. You're just going to be getting an elbow across the throat or the head or something like that. Bang, and then coming through for the final move. Okay, coming out of that one into this posture. Okay, what are you doing? Low left one into the kidneys, striking down like so. So that's again just a nice little choppy block. Again, you know, someone's attacking you from the rear, so I'm not necessarily going to be able to instantly attack him. In the martial arts, we aim to have a direct strike. Hit the person as soon as you possibly can. But if I'm out punching this guy and he's throwing a punch from the rear, you know, you probably are not going to have time to get an instant attack if someone's rushing in from the rear. So that's what we're doing with that one there. So I'm spinning around, like so, striking him again straight, preferably straight into the elbow. I mean, again, you can't really aim because it's behind you. You just think, protect your kidneys. That's all you're really thinking. Just think, don't let him hit you in the kidneys. He comes straight, as soon as he's done that, basically you're going to go 1, 2, like a straight punch straight up to the top of my head. Bagua, you see? And I'm going to come through with that one. Same thing here. I'm pulling that short so I don't smack Chris in the face again with my palm, but that would be coming across the palm, across the face, you see? Now, again, variation of application. I could take this one. If he throws a hook punch to me, like more of a curved punch, I'm probably, if I try to hit him in the face, I'm going to get hit, you see? So I would have to just take it as a block in this case. In the case of him throwing a straight punch, I've done the lower one. You see, because it's on that straight line, boom, I can block that, and see the upper forearm is taking this, like so, and the lower, the palm, has still got room to move. I can hit him in the face and still cover that. So it's one movement. Boom! You see that nice movement? Smack him across the nose. Right, what are we doing now? Okay. Coming into, you know what? I'm going to put my hat on. It's getting a little bit warm. 100% hemp, by the way, the hat, just in case you're wondering. Beautiful material is hemp. Okay, where was I? None offers food. Okay, so we've come out into holding the moon in your breast again. Okay, this is the next posture. Okay. It's called the none offers the food. The reason it's called that is obviously it's offering something outward. Because of the bodily structure, well, this is the understanding I've been told, is that a nun is fairly shy and reserved. She's a very reserved girl. A nun won't come out going, like, you know, this kind of thing. Well, maybe some of them do. But typically, your typical thoughts of what a nun is very prim and proper and calm and, held back kind of thing. So she's offering the food, but she's not offering the food like this. She's offering the food like this. She's like, here you go. So effectively, you're keeping away as the food's going forward, you see? Hence this curve to the body. You'd probably never use this curve in a martial situation, although the principle does apply to certain situations, like knife situations where you will pull in here, stick your fingers in his neck or something to keep away from the knife as you're striking it down, and stick your fingers through into the neck or the eyes, for example. So the principle does apply, but I probably wouldn't use it in this very fashionable way. Can't see a thing with this hat on. Feels a bit weird when you can't see your hand in front of you. Okay, so that's what we're looking at with the posture. You're right down in that back leg. There's maybe only 10% of weight in your front leg. The hand posture is the same as this posture that we've already learned, only just lift it up higher. So the actual structure of the hands is the same thing as what we did earlier. Here comes that tsunami again. Can you see how clear that water is? Seriously. Luckily yesterday it was raining, but today it's warmed up, so we're going to go for a swim later. It's pristine, it's amazing. I'm going to very much enjoy swimming in there after I've finished this video. Where were we? Nunning and the food. Okay, so the posture of the arms, the structure of the arms is the same as what I've already gone over. See the radial bone and the thumb bone here just rest around the top of the crease of the elbow, like so. Right palm is flexed down, so you've got intention on the hand as well as the fingers, like so. You see, it's not like that, just the fingers, but it's not like that, just the palm. It's twisted, and the fingers are pulled in a little bit, so they're not flat, they're slightly cupped. The left hand is yang, but just like I said on this one, it's not as yang as the front hand. That's your main yang hand. So the left hand is a little bit softer in its angle of the wrist. Okay, what else can I tell you? Footwork. Okay, what do we have? We have the heel on the circle and the toe on the circle for this posture. You're going to do one of these little steps again, just like we've done previously. So from here, that's that same little step as we've been doing. Just pick up the foot and place the heel on the circle. Turn it out, exactly the same as if we were going to do one of these. Okay, so the same thing, about 45 degrees off the circumference of the circle. Okay, so you turn that foot out, like so. Step forward and place your heel on the circle this time. Like so. Oh, this time. The last time we did this step, we also did that. So turn the foot out. Sorry, don't turn the foot out. Do a little step with the foot. One, to bring the heel onto the circle. Step forward, but place the heel and so that the feet are parallel in this case. So we're not coming forward into like a bow stance, we're keeping it parallel, like that. Both heels on the circle, like so, and then your strike is going to come out like this, going off at a tangent to the circle. So if I did it, just to give you an angle sort of thing, let's say if I was striking straight to the camera, that would mean my feet would be maybe just past 45 degrees, you see? So that would be my feet facing where I'm facing. That would be 45 degrees. That's not quite right. It's a little bit more. So it's actually almost 90 degrees. It's a little bit in from 90 degrees, like that when we do that posture. Okay, so that's your footwork. Turn your foot by doing that little step, that little change of direction step. Step through and place your foot on the ground, like so. That's all you got to do with the feet. When you place the foot down for this one, a little bit of weight will go into it. So you've got that little bit of like 10% of weight in that front leg. Okay, hands. No, not from there, from here. Right, what you're going to do, I'll show you just the hands by themselves. Okay. The left hand slightly turns over so that you're going to strike just the very top part of the forearm. So you're not hitting your hands together, but you're not hitting down, it's just there, just below the hand. So your hands are crossed kind of thing, you see? So that's where you're hitting, like so. The left hand, just as this one's sort of tucking in, see how the left hand starts to turn out? So you slightly turn the left hand out, and then you strike, you actually hit your arm just there underneath the inside of the arm. So you're sort of attacking your pericardium and your heart channel, energy meridian wise. Again, just conditioning your arms, just getting your arms used to getting bumped. You know, I know some people I've trained with some people, it's usually females, but it does happen to men as well, where they're very, very sensitive in the arms. And you just do 3 minutes of training where you get bumped a few times, especially the inside of the arms, and they get really ill and sick, and they need to go and sit down. So it's a good idea for those people particularly to strengthen up their points on their arms. Okay, so where are we? Here? Right, just the hands, okay. Turn the hand, see, as the right hand's got to sort of spiral through and strike. We don't want it to do this, you see, don't do a backward movement. See that? As you're coming forward, it's coming through. It's got to go yin, so it's got to lift up slightly and go yin, but it tucks a little bit. But it's a forward tuck, See, when I say tuck, I don't mean pull it back like this. It's kind of more like your hand stays where it is and your body moves towards your hand. So if I leave my hand there, you see, I just let it go yin. But as I come forward, you see, so it looks like I'm pulling my hand back, but I'm not. I'm leaving my hand there and I'm drawing my body closer to the hand. As my right hand does that, my left hand, imagine like you're taking a block, okay? Someone's throwing a punch, you hear like this and bang. Just taking a parry, like from the side. So from this posture, turn your foot out, take a block. Then you step through and attack him with your right arm, like so. See? And that's going to give you your posture. So, going back into the details of the posture, as you block with your left hand, you turn your foot out. See? And you go yin with the right hand and turn your palm slightly up. Like so. Now as you step, you strike your palm. The timing should be that your right foot touches the ground as you make that first contact. Bang. You see? Together there. But what we've got to get now is, watch this, see if you can hear the sound. Can you hear that? I'll do it closer to the camera so you can see what's happening. Okay, watch the arms and hear the sound. That was a good one. Hear that? I'm getting a double bump, but I'm not doing two movements, you see. It's bang. The right hand just does one extension of the arm, and twisted by the waist, of course. Whereas the left hand goes bang. It just naturally gets bounced off that hand. So you kind of, with your left hand, you think pull down a little bit to make that impact, so it doesn't just, fly up in the air. Pull down into it to get that strike happening. It's naturally going to get hit up a little bit, but then keep it pulling down so it forces back into the crease of the arm. So the second strike is the same strike as that lower one that we did at the beginning of the palm changes. So that's what we want to get. You want to strike your hand here, just on the base, just underneath the wrist, like so. You're just going to get the tip of your pisiform bone, which is this little knobbly bit here. So that's where you're striking. And as that hits, bang, it rolls that hand out, and then you get a second strike, straight onto the crease of your arm. Again, in application, you wouldn't get those bumps happening. It would feel more like just taking a block and sticking your fingers in his neck. But the bumps are there for the conditioning of your arms. And as I say, they're subtle conditioning, You're not getting that much with that, but you're hitting very, very sensitive points now. So we don't want to hit them too hard like we do with the backs of the arms. We're hitting heart points, pericardium points. As we come over here, again, heart points and pericardium points, maybe even getting a bit of the lung channel on the outside of that arm. But because they're on the inside, the yin side of the arms, they're a little bit more sensitive. So we take it easy and build them up gradually. Okay, so that's how it happens. Turn your foot, take the block with the left hand as the right hand tucks under. 1. Step through as you strike your arm, bang, and then obviously that hand just continues through. So the foot hits the ground on that move, but it's instantly through afterwards. So if I were doing it slowly, when I do that posture, like so, you see, you're going to see that projection of the front hand. So the foot would be on the ground, and see how there's a little bit of a further motion of that, creating that C-like shape through here. You see, so you're really pushing that left hip back and going in here. That happens. Well, it happens throughout the posture, but the apex of it happens between here and here. You see, so I'm coming forward there when I hit. See how I'm just got a slight curve, but now as I extend the arm, you see, there's actually a little pushing because the foot's on the ground now. So I actually push just fractionally back into that posture as I do it. You're looking out past that left hand, of course, so you're looking up this direction from your body, like so. That's what we want to look at. Keep your head tucked, like so, but you're looking straight out here. So don't tilt your head up, like that. Okay, doing it slowly. See? There's that little sit back, which you can't really see when it's done fast because it becomes subtle, but it is there. See, so when you're doing it slowly, there's a little motion of, you place the foot down, so from here, you come through, you place that foot down, as you hit the hands, notice how a little bit of weight goes into that front foot. See that? It's like a little, just that. Don't shift your weight forward like this, just a little controlling influence into that front heel. But you only really see it when you're doing it fast, as I say. Sorry, when you're doing it slowly. So 1, 2, 3. Like so. Maintain your pelvic tuck, all the other stuff we've been talking about. Be careful here not to push your weight so far back that you rock onto the outer edge of that left foot. Make sure the foot's flat on the ground. Find your sweet spot, like we talked about in the Qigong and the walking. Right, so when you're doing it fast, of course, when you come to here and you do the strike quickly, you see, that you can't really see that little rock forward and then back again because it becomes a little bit smaller when it's done fast, but it's still there. So keep that in mind as you're doing it. You should feel, oh, by the way, keep your left elbow dropped. See, don't let it lift up in the air, keep it dropped down. The reason we keep the arm here and not let it come back here is primarily for the stretch, again. By holding the arm here, you'll instantly feel all this area opening down through the left side of your body. Whereas if you let it go, now it's easy, not getting anything happening. So we're, you see, stretch all this area down through your body in that posture. That's going to send him backwards. It's going to knock him backwards, bang. Now, two different, I'll show you I'll show you this application first. Assuming he's gotten knocked back, so he's taken a step back perhaps, and then comes through with a left punch. Like so. Into his jaw, like so. That's your none offers food. The body positioning, of course, the big stretchy kind of movement, again, that's for stretching your body. You're not going to sit down like in the posture like that in a martial application. So, again, now that first punch, if you do that as a straight jabby kind of punch, you see, that's going to look exactly as you do it in the form. If it's coming straight on the nose, you see, this one's got to block out. This one comes straight through, either into the temple, the jaw, or the neck. Take your pick. If you're a shorter person, you're probably going to go with your fingers even into the neck like so. Because I'm closer, because of course I've got the longer reach, so if Chris can hit me there, I might be a bit closer with my fingers, so I may as well drive through with the palm. I'll get a bit more power like that. But as I say, that's a personal preference. It's not really right or wrong. You could either strike with the fingers there, or you could strike with the palm. That's why the palm is shaped like so. It's not shaped like so, indicating only a finger strike. It's not shaped like so, indicating only a palm strike. It's like that. See how the fingers are pulled in a little bit? So you could hit with your fingers, you could hit with the palm. You could even hit with both. If I stick my fingers in there, if I don't want to push into Chris there, but if I push into his throat, and then my palm's going to slam straight into his chin, dislocating both jaws backwards. So that's what we're getting there. One, like so. I'm just protecting my knee there in case he does something to it, like so. Now, if he threw a hook punch, of course, obviously, as I say, I'd have to move out. That would make it a different move. The move would still work, but you see, you'd have to add a curve to the posture to obviously make that move work. So in the form, the way that we do it is coming straight through into the application, indicating that the attack is, of course, a straight punch. Okay, let's take it from this side. Okay, let's carry on from there. Let's get this done. We're on a roll. I'm going to get these up on YouTube this week. Right, we were here. Okay, footwork, pretty simple. Just turn your right foot in. Okay, so you're coming back into a pigeon-toed stance, like so. As you do that, you shift your weight into that leg with the big loud motorbike going past. Okay, so turn that on the heel, turn the toe in and shift your weight into that leg, you see? Not 100%, just maybe 80%, something like that, like so. So you're just in one of those natural pigeon-toed stances like these postures we've been doing, and you're down in the right leg. Okay, what your hands are going to do from here, I'll show you this way. The left hand does like what we did on that posture. In fact, you're going to go basically into that posture, but from a different angle. So the application's totally different, but the final posture looks the same. So from here, the left hand simply rolls down your center, like so. See? Don't turn it over at the top and drop it. You'll see this in the application. You're grabbing an arm, you see, and twisting it as it drops. So from this position, we need to roll the hand, like you're striking with the left palm, roll the hand down and let it collapse into your center. As you do that, your right palm, which is out here, you're going to sink into this leg. You're basically doing an elbow strike with that move. But remember, don't worry too much about the applications when you're first learning. You just want to get the structures right for this basic series. So, pull the left hand down across your body, shift your weight into that posture. So as you can see, the structure of the arms is the same as that posture that we did earlier, only of course your intention is looking over here to the left now. We're still pigeon-toed and your weight is in the other leg compared to before, so we're in the right leg now. Notice how when we do this elbow strike, from here, we don't just go and like dead still. There's a little rock back on the movement. So from here, we're going to turn to the left. See that? Just do the movement and then relax off the movement. Don't think about like turning this way and doing something back this way. Just think, do the movement to your left and just settle back from that previous posture. Okay, so from there, turn the foot all at once. That's what we want. And your eyes are looking back to your left. So with reference to the circle now, we're facing out this way. We're going to turn straight back the other way. Keep your pigeon-toed stance as we were doing it. Don't let that foot relax. So from here, take that posture with the hands, like so. Turn to your left, turn your toe in, shift your weight. See that little settle back? See, it's not much. It's just, whoa, just settle back into the posture. Your gaze is now looking out here to your left. Your weight's about 80% down in your right leg. Left hand is tucked just in front of your belly, your lower belly, and the right hand is over your head. Like I said, in this posture and these postures, the hand in the form is over the head to create a stretch to open up the body. It's a physical stretching application. In martial application, this hand would probably be somewhere more like this. Because even if he was 7 foot tall, in that case you'd do a body shot. You wouldn't try to hit him in the head up there. You wouldn't get any power. So the posture and the form, you see, we're getting this nice stretch down the right side of the body now. But in application, of course, you've got an arm here, boom, you see, and you're coming in with that elbow strike. But we're not doing it like that in the form. Okay, one more time just to check we've got anything we've missed here. Weight's in the left leg, shift the weight, settle back, gazing to your left. Like so. The weight's almost fully down in the right leg now, about 90%. So you see there's a little bit of controlling weight in that left leg still on that posture. I'm not facing right the way back around the center. So here I'm facing out at a tangent. That would be directly out of the circle. I'm just slightly on the left. If there's me like that, directly out of the circle, like so, I'm a little bit to the left, you see? So don't try to turn like you're facing along the circle. Just do a little bit cocked to the left of the central location. Okay, carrying on from there. So where were we? We were here like so, and we turned in and loaded back just slightly, gazing back to this direction. Okay, I'll just show you this way, like so. So you turn the foot in, see that? See how it's like everything happens together again. So from here, don't turn your foot, do this, everything's got to happen all at once. Shift your weight as you sink your weight into that leg, and see how the elbow move itself is kind of circular? So from here, it's not like this. Watch the motion of the body as we sink into it. It almost kind of like the elbow's kind of going around this way, sort of thing. Very subtly, but you can just naturally feel that movement. See that? So it circles and back. See, so it's not just the little shake back that I'm talking about, the centering back. This way. It's not like, see that? That's like back and forth. Watch how the elbow, the right arm really, the whole arm. See that? If I exaggerate it, it's like the arm comes over and almost circles back in like this, but so subtle. Just round the edges off rather than thinking make a circle. You see, it's like if I make a straight line like that, or if I make a straight line like that. See, I just slightly curved the edge, but primarily it's still a straight line. So from there, that's what we want. Your eyes are looking back this way. Okay, from here, what we're going to do is, let's get back on the circle correctly. So heels are on the circle still in the pigeon-toed stance. And we're turned to our left. Oh, sorry, we're still slightly turned to our left, but remember we've centered back to the right. So I've turned into my left, and then I've centered back. So I'm not right into the left, I'm just slightly over here. Like that. Because this all carries on, remember. The form flows into one another. I'll just do it for you. I'll just show you what it looks like. From here we go like so. See, I've lengthened my stance, so I've got both heels on the circle again, into a nice big strong solid sort of a stance like this, like some people call it a horse stance, these kind of things, except we're down in one leg, about 80% down in the one side. This is the bear posture that we're going into now. So what we're doing is, let's just have a look at the feet. We're there like that. May as well do this on the circle actually. So we're there like that. The weight's about 80% already in that right leg. You're simply going to step out, just adjust that foot out. Not too big, but just 1, 2. So you're going to turn your waist to the left as you step, 1, and then turn back to the right, 2. Okay? Your hands, which are here, as you step to the left, 1, just spread that hand out as you step and turn to your left, 1, and then as you turn back to the right, 2. So that's spread both your hands out like so. So we go. So your gaze goes back to this right hand, back to where the intention, not looking at it, but just looking back in this direction. So here, watch what happens. Eyes are out here, and we go. See that? Your eyes are just gazing down this way. So you're not looking backwards, back this way. You're more or less looking where your head's facing, kind of thing. So where your body's facing, and your body's turned into this right hand. So think of it as, from here, you're pulling something. You've actually, well, no, I won't explain the applications. Just watch the applications. You'll see the movement. Otherwise, I'm wasting time explaining them without my partner actually here to show them. So we get 1. See, now this is what I mean by loading them into, not loading, flowing one into the other. From here, watch the waist turn. So we get left, right, which then will, of course, load you into the next movement even. So this little turn to the left, 1. See, I can't really do that movement now. So the elbow itself, like I've said several times already, like the punch has recoiled back, so it's ready for another punch rather than leaving it there. So after we've done this movement, we don't leave the elbow there, we take it overhead and let it center back, let it just settle after the movement. That settling not only aids power to the movement you've just done, which you'll see in the martial application, but it sets you up for the next movement. So from here we get 1, 2, 3, you see, on that third turn, the second time we turn to the left, right, now we step, left, right, okay, like that. That's your posture, both hands splayed out like so, kind of, if you put them on your knees like that and just bring them out, so they're rounded across, round the arms but don't round the shoulders, like this. Keep your shoulders back in like that Qigong position that we've been talking about, but see how the arms are rounded. So the arms are rounded like that. Oh, in this case we'll be looking backwards to this hand. In the next move we're going to be looking forward to the front. But that's the classical sort of bear posture. Palms roughly over the knees, rounded, fingers turning in, yang palms. Don't do it sloppy. The bear is a strong, pronounced stature to the posture. So really, it's quite a yang posture. I don't mean to tense up though. It's the attitude of the posture which is strong. It doesn't mean you have to tense all your muscles up. Think of a bear. When a bear stands up on its back legs, it doesn't stand there flexing all its muscles, but it just stands up with a presence about it. and you know, you don't want to mess with him, kind of thing. So that's what we're doing in this posture. Okay, so 1, see that? So effectively from here, just the body, forget about the feet for a second, just the body goes 1, 2. You see, so it's a left-right turn of the body, but they're very small turns. We're not going like swinging over here and swinging over here. The hand movements together are not 1, 2. The hand movements are, you see, da-da, almost kind of together. They're just slightly left before the right. So from here, we just go like that. Left turn, right turn, 1, 2. Now we put the step in with it, 1, 2. Okay, so that leaves you in that nice solid position. You're probably about 80% in that rear leg, the right leg in this case, for this particular posture. Okay, so we've widened our stance. We're looking back towards this direction. We've struck with that right palm. So we've struck with the left and the right. Okay, now we're going to do the posture called Black Bear looks back. So we're going to spin around and look back to the opposite direction, back to where we were going, sort of thing. Notice how again I've put both heels onto the circle. If you can still see that line going through my heels now. You're basically in the same position we were just in. The only difference is before we were looking sort of towards our right hand side, now we're turned in towards our left hand side. So when we first go into the posture, from here, your right hand is your dominant hand. Even though they're both holding the posture, your right hand is your focus, your dominant hand. That's the one doing the major part of the application. Like that. Once we spin around, see we've turned to the right for the strike, now we can turn to the left, which will turn us into the spin. As we come into the spin, you spin around, and now of course the left hand becomes the dominant hand because you're looking out this way towards that hand. The actual posture is the same. I'll just do it side on so you can see. There's what we've just done, looking over this way. That's what we were doing before. You see, so you're literally doing the same posture, but just your intention's sort of to the rear. Now the intention's to the front. The weighting in the legs, the structure in the legs is all basically the same. Okay. Okay. See how there's just a settling at the end of the posture as well. Once you've spun around, so let's do it back here. Here, I'm going to spin around. See how I settle into the posture? I don't spin and go, you know, like a robot, like stuck there. You hit the ground and sort of sink into the ground once you hit the ground. Okay, so here like so, with the thunder rolling in, I'm hoping it's not going to rain. Like that, spin around. See, try to land, well yeah, that was a good land. Try to land with your heel on the circle, like so. Don't worry, it doesn't matter if your heel comes just off the circle, it's not really such a big deal, but it is good for your own control ability to really make sure you land exactly on the line of the circle. I personally, if I land slightly off, I'm not that bothered, but as you can see, most of the time I do land on the circle, so that's a good thing. Okay, so just going to roll my pants up one more time because I'm going to stand on them. Right, so we're looking back to this direction. Okay, I think that's all you need really for that posture. The main thing is the attitude of the bear, as I say, particularly on this second part, once you've spun around. Watch the eyes, the intention of the eyes particularly. I'm going to do it towards the camera. So we come from here, that should be correct, yeah. Okay, so I'm here like this, I've gone 1, 2, so this is the first posture. I've already loaded the waist by doing that strike, so you shouldn't have to go like this to go into the movement, because you've already done that by doing that right hand strike. We're going to move into the posture. See that? The attitude behind the movement. I wouldn't want to go into the posture, for example, and just go, nothing's happening now. Just think of the bear. The bear is what I think of when I think of a bear. They're so powerful, they could easily, well, I don't know if a bear's ever had a fight with a lion or a tiger or something, but to me they seem more one of the most powerful animals, yet they're so relaxed and, well, a cuddly bear. People think of bears as cuddly and friendly kind of thing, whereas lions and tigers are typically portrayed as vicious and aggressive kind of thing. So although they're very powerful, they're very, very aggressive. The bear is that you don't want to mess with him, but he doesn't want to mess with you either. If you come over and want to start something, he'll finish it, but if you don't bother, he's going to go off and have a little sleep, you know. That's the attitude of the bear. Strong, but grounded and calm. So think about that idea when you do this posture. A lot of the postures in the form, like, you know, this one we just did now, that's just it's a good move, it's a very nice little posture, but it's not one of the major movements of the form. The bear is, that's something that's teaching your energy. You're using the attitude of the animal to teach you something about your body. Later on, one of the next moves, we do the monkey, which is the opposite of the bear. That's like, you're startled and surprised and aware because you're the little monkey that's going to get eaten by all the other animals. So this gives out the energy, the attitude of how we should be doing the postures. So I'll just do that one more time. We come for that particular move. As I say with all of them, you can do this slowly, like that, but drive it from the waist, you see? 1, 2. The spin has to be done slowly. You can't, I can't spin. The body mechanics of this move don't allow you to go fast, obviously. You can't spin this leg around to here and do that quickly. Well, I don't think you can anyway. I certainly can't. Okay, so from here we spin around. You're loaded to the right. I'm using this structure to click my back at the moment. That was nice. But I'm using that structure to get the body moving. Don't try to push from the leg so much like this, but utilize, I mean, you do push from the leg a little bit, but watch what the body does here, you see? See, it's like you're winding up, wah, wah, and it takes you around. So you're using a mixture of course, pushing from that leg. That sends your weight, of course, into your left leg, but you see, it's this motion, it's this solid structure on the top that gets your body to spin. Watch out, the mozzies are out. Okay, so bang, your body's loaded. Connect this whole structure to your center, to your core, to your legs, your quad, and then spin it and cause it to drag your leg around. You see? But see how when I land, assuming you're doing it slowly, if I were doing it, I can do it a slightly different way where I can come from here and spin and actually stomp that heel into the ground, but I wouldn't recommend doing that now. The better way for you to do it now is how I just did it. With strength of grounding, but it's still kind of graceful, if you know what I mean. As opposed to it being like, you see that? How I sort of plonked into that leg? I want to do it like I'm, see? That's the energy you want. Your eyes should just like you're gazing through nothingness. Don't come around and go, oh, I wonder what's for dinner tonight. You know, this kind of thing. Just look like you're looking through your opponent, like he's not even there. And that's what a wild animal will do. I was sat in front of a lion one day. It was behind a glass wall, but the lion was actually looking at some kind of wildebeest or something in the other paddock, and I stood right in front of the lion, and it was just like, it couldn't see me because it was so focused intent on that's my kill. It was like I didn't exist. And that's the attitude you've got to have towards your attacker in the martial arts situation. We don't want to look at our attacker, because when you look at them, you can allow their energy to affect you. I'm not going to go into a whole self-defense lesson here, you know, we're just trying to learn the Bagua form. But just that one idea that if you look at your attacker, and they're much bigger than you are, you look, and their energy causes you to go, oh my God, he's huge, what am I going to do? But if you don't look at him, if you just look past him, now he's just an object. His size doesn't come into play. You're still aware of his size, so you're going to use a more evasive tactic than coming through the middle, things like that. But you're simply not allowing his energy to affect your energy. As soon as your energy goes, oh no, he's already beaten you see? So that's what you want. Spin around, have the attitude of the bear, look through, just gaze into nothingness. When we do this particular posture. From there, so from that same move, we're assuming, okay, this could be a new attacker, but I would like to assume he's probably not taken out yet. I've only hit him once, and it's a slip block. A slip block is never going to be as powerful as a direct attack. But they are very nice applications because they're not expected. Usually if you do this to someone's arm, he's going to think that that's a block, so he's not going to expect to get hit by that, hopefully. Whereas obviously if I block that in a direct attack, that's going to be more powerful, but he may see that coming. So we tend to slip block first, boom, and then come through with something heavier. In this case, we're assuming we haven't been fast enough. He's thrown a straight punch, more like a slight hook punch coming through here. So I've dealt with him here, and what? You see? I'll just show you the move first. This is the next move. Remember in our form before we go into the bear posture. So we're going bang, he comes through with that one, boom! That's where I'm coming. Straight across the back of his jawline, through here. Again, footwork, you're going to have to reposition your feet slightly depending on the application. Don't think that you have to do it exactly like the form. The form is for the health and strengthening of the body. So in the application, in this case, I might want to move my feet a little bit. You've got to adapt to your partner when you're practicing applications. But that's the idea. Watch the left hand in the form. It rolls down, you see, like it's grabbing and scooping. So from here, he throws that, you see, there's the block. But like before, I'm going to grab and twist that over. But at the same time as twisting that over, I'm going to bring this straight into the back of his jaw, like so, and take his jaw out there, bang. So that's that movement there. And remember, there's that little circle back. I'm not hitting him, just hit you here, assuming that's his jaw. I'm not hitting him like this and finishing here. I'm going, you see? So I've sent him that way, but I've recoiled back to where I was. So that's what's happening there. Like so, just back into position. Okay, the bear posture, as I explained in the solo form, these kind of postures are not martially orientated. You're never going to stand in a big low stance with both your hands out. They're an energetical bodybuilding move, energy building move. They bring out the grounding in your training. You're never going to spread your hands out like this. But you can use principles of them, elements of them in the applications. You know, just the principle of dropping your weight, the principle of structure and things like this. You can use those principles in your fighting, but not necessarily the detailed application. But there's still an application, just to give you an idea of where to position your hands and how to generate the power in your solo form. So, the idea to have in your head, a couple of things. Either same guy here, so I've taken him out there, I've still got his wrist here, you see? So, I can either go like this, pull on this arm, bang, so I've hit him there. So I've struck him across the neck. Now I'm just going to yank on this arm, take a little step with the left foot to pull him across, and strike straight across his lower abdomen area, like so. So that's what we're looking at with that first one, pulling him across and slamming him across there, you see. So that's that one, that one. That's why in the form the left hand goes first. From here with the little step, 1, 2, and we gaze back towards this direction. That could also simply be bang, just someone coming in with, say, a low punch down there like so. That could simply just be a block there, bang, and just striking this guy. So rather than pulling on his arm, you could just be hitting him once more just to finish him off or something. Could even be another attack, for example. So, bang. From here, the spinning posture of the bear, that's the epitome of, obviously, you can't do a movement like that in a martial application, because a movement like that can never be done fast. If I try to do that, the body mechanics don't allow it to be fast. It's not designed to be used in fighting. It's a training tool for grounding. But again, just to give you an idea of what's happening in the movement, he's thrown that bunch, bang, maybe I've done that. From here, this could either be a strike or a blocking motion. So I could either come with the whole forearm striking across his center line like so, and obviously this coming into the side of his knee, boom, just a barging through kind of idea. Or he could be coming through with the left punch and again taking it on the back of the elbow, spinning through like so, and then I could come back and strike into here like so. So as I say, you've got to take elements of postures like this. Don't take the whole posture and assume you would actually use the footwork like that. For example, that spin like so, if I were going to use anything like that, if he came through with that, you see, I just switched the feet. I wouldn't actually do the big spin in a martial sense. Okay, let's carry on from there. Right, so we're in that nice big stance, heels on the circle. What we're going to do now is a smaller version of what we did when we came out of the chicken. Remember when we did this one? We swiveled on the heel and drew that foot in. You're going to do that, but literally just that much. Just a tiny swivel. It's just enough, because if you do this posture in the bear posture and you try to turn to the front, you don't have enough room. You see, your foot's too far turned out. Your knee's going to end up buckling in order to get this working, which is obviously incorrect. So, as you turn your waist to do this next posture, sink your weight further into your right sweet spot. Oh, sorry, you're actually going to shift the weight into the heel because you're doing a swivel. You can't be on the sweet spot as you're swiveling, because the sweet spot is the front part of the heel. So we have to put the weight into the rear of the heel because it's a swivel, and then of course it goes back to the sweet spot. So that goes with any swiveling movements, of course. I think I've already said that. So we're going to swivel on the right heel and just draw that left foot in slightly. So we could just come again back to that normal walking position. Right heel on the circle, left toe on the circle, like so. Okay, so you're wide out like that, just that much. Don't bring it right into a small stance. It's not a toe stance either, like we did in the chicken posture. It's just a natural, ready to walk kind of position. Okay, as you do that, your left hand just moves with your body. It does nothing. It just turns naturally with your body, so it's just sitting here to the side of you, like so. Your right hand, however, it's loaded yang. See, it's come around like that. So it's already in position, ready. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention that before. When you do the spin, that's an important element, make sure you hold this structure. As you spin, don't lose the structure and then build it back up again. You have to hold that structure, sideways. There's the structure. Look at this in the arms. See, it's soft within the structure. I'm not saying it's rigid, but don't let it go sloppy. Hold that, just see, something like this. It's soft within that solidness, but keep the yang rounded structure as you do that spin. Okay, back to this one. This is the hawk swooping the fowl. So it's sweeping down to catch the fowl and then sailing back up into the air. Okay, so as you do that movement, left hand does nothing. Right hand, which is loaded yang, watch what it's going to do. Okay, and I'm now sunk right back into the rear foot. So just have a look at that right hand. It's important to get this arc happening. Don't pump the hand up like this. Swing it up and relax. The strike, although your hand ends up in a yang shape like a palm strike, that's not the strike. Oh, the lightning's coming in. I hope I'm not producing too much energy to get struck by lightning. I hope I get struck and the camera doesn't. I've got a lot of information on there. I've got all the previous videos all on the memory card in there. Well, let's hope for good luck. Okay, right, so the right hand is loaded and it's going to sweep, see, like it's tracing the ground. Oh, can you hear that? We've got a storm coming tonight. Okay, back to this. Sorry, I get excited when there's storms. Yang hand, swing, see how it's sort of tracing the ground, you see? This is as you're going to be swiveling, we're just looking at the arms. The hand is going to trace the ground as it starts to go yin. That is the strike. That movement is the strike. This part is just the offload of the strike. So for example, let's say I did that sort of a strike and I went, bah! See where my hands ended up? Doesn't mean that was a strike. The strike was there, that was the recoil. So because the strike this time is the yin movement, the recoil is going to be the yang movement. You could, of course, in application or so, you could one and come into a further strike, but we don't do that in the form. We're just focusing. See that? See where the intention is if I'm doing it martially and doing it fast. Look at where the intention is. The intention is there on the upward strike. You're hitting here with the back of the wrist and forearm, and then the fingertips, like so, are flicking up underneath the nose. It's more like a stunning shot. You're not going to knock anyone out with it, but bah! You slam your fingers up through his guard, straight into his nose, scratching the eyes, and then come through with something more solid. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. Look at the intention of the movement. You see that? That's what we want to get. That's where the power is going up. I'm not expecting you to do it like that now. Remember, we're just doing it slowly. But it gives you the right idea of where the energy should be going in the posture. I'll just show you side on. So we're deep down into that stance. It all happens together, you see. And remember, don't load before you strike. I'm stuck down like this. I've got to twist straight to my left as I squeeze the feet in by squeezing the quad like we did earlier, only it's just a smaller movement now. And that right hand, which is loaded, it's going to strike straight up. You should feel shake in your palm, only if you're doing it fast, of course. Doing it slowly, it's going to look something more like this. See? So there's the strike, there's the settling after the strike. Make sure that the foot's swiveled so the knee is over the toe, and you're just sitting in your normal Qigong-like posture now. Not the hands, obviously, but the body structure like we've talked about in the Qigong and the walking. Okay, from there, so you're sinking back into that posture. You're sinking, because you're about 80% here, so now you're about 100% back in that rear leg. Sorry, not about, you are 100%. That posture, you should be able to pick up that front foot without falling over. Okay, from here, what we're going to do is, we're going to do like in the second palm change. We're going to go from here, turn this foot out, so like that. Turn the foot out, place the heel on the circle, like so. So we're in here, like so. Just turn the foot so that the heel places on the line, step forward, just like we did in the second palm change when we did the fierce tiger posture, like so. Okay, so we're there like that. Like so. Okay, so you've got to pick the foot up and place it heel on the line. As you step through, just turn your waist, but don't do anything with your hands. So your hands are in this position, right? Both hands are slightly yang. There's your finished posture of that strike we just did. Turn the foot out, step forward, and place the heel. But see, I haven't moved my hands, but my waist has turned slightly to my left. Now, as I bring the weight forward, I'm going to do exactly the same movement, but on the opposite side. So I'm going to get this to happen. See? The only difference is this time the right hand is pulling down as the left hand strikes up. So on the first variation, the left hand just, well, it still kind of pulls back, but it's a smaller movement. You see, it's just pulling from here to here, like so, as the right hand does the major work. Now we move forward, and now there's double action. So the right hand is pulling down just as hard as the left hand is pushing up. And of course we're coming into the front leg, so it's a front weighted posture. But the energy of the posture, the dynamic, how you do the strikes, exactly the same. So we get from here, there's the first one, little step forward, turning to the waist, to the left, you're going out to grab something this time, and then you're pulling it down, and striking up. Remember, there's the intention, and then you finish in the yang posture. The stance is the same as what we already covered for the fierce tiger jumps out. Nothing different in the stance, twisted into the front, only the hands are in a different position. That front hand is up about facial height, the right hand is down about hip height, so just slightly to the side of your body. Okay, so where were we? Here. So think in your mind, you're assuming maybe you hit him or he moved back to get out of the way, something like that. So you're following him up, you're staying on top of him. So you're going, bah, there's your strikes. You go, oh, no, you can't go anywhere. Grab hold of him, pull his head down or pull his neck or his arm. Many different applications it can represent. It's pulling something down and smashing him with your left palm as you come into posture. Okay. See, so the energy of the posture is the same. Okay, right, as you can see now, we're getting through the postures a lot quicker because all the primary foundation principles were covered in the previous postures. So if you think like, oh, hang on, he hasn't covered that detail, is the pelvis tucked, is this or that happening? If I haven't told you anything extra, it means just apply everything you've already learnt. Keep your knees structured, keep your pelvis tucked under, keep your chin lifted, all of this stuff. If I haven't said anything about it, assume you should be doing it. And this is why you need to get your foundation before going too quickly into the extra movements. Okay, from here, what's this posture called? Hawk. Hawk swoops the fowl. Okay, so we have from here, that posture there. So we're assuming we've spun around, he's throwing a low punch in here, outside. Bang, we've struck in here like so. As soon as we've done that, we've struck that, bang, and we've struck with the fingertips flicking up through the nose. That could also indicate, perhaps I've blocked that and he comes through with another strike. Bang, you see? So it's a beautiful movement because as long as it's a straight punch, if it were a hook punch, see, I'd still get hit if I tried to hit directly to his center. I would then have to cover that block. But if he's throwing a jab, you see, just punch straight up at the back of your wrist, like so, straight up the center line. You cover that, and then your fingertips on the end, flick up under his nose and into his eyes. That's never going to be a knockout kill shot or something like that. However, if you've ever been whacked right underneath the nose, not into the nose like so, but up under the nose, it's a really, really sensitive area. And obviously the eyes as well. So if you're taking it as a block, just knocking his head back, then you're just going to take him around the back of the head and do the same thing with the other hand, striking up there. That's why you take a step forward in the form. The first one's here like so. You're assuming he's got knocked back, so you're following him up, grabbing hold of his neck and yanking his head down and taking the further strike. That could also be a further block as well. Perhaps maybe I've struck him here, I don't know, maybe I've taken this and maybe he's just dodged back, he's just gotten out of the way of that, so I've missed him and he's come straight through with a low punch, in which case I block down and take this one across his face. So that's another variation of the application. Okay. Right, we've got some tricky moves coming up now. We're here like this, going off at a tangent. I'll show you the footwork. We're going to turn the right foot in, pigeon-toed again, like that. Just turn it in as far as you can, basically, like that. So it's even a little bit more than pigeon-toed. That would be sort of equally pigeon-toed to the left foot. Just turn it in as far as it's comfortable to do so. Don't do something silly like, you know, bend your body over to get it like this. Now I feel silly, I'm sticking my bum out and so on. So just turn it in to where you can still feel the structure of the movement happening. So like that, you're turning it in, you see. Now I still feel strong and structured. If I turn it past that point, now I feel wobbly and unstable. So I would say there's even to the other foot. It's just a tiny bit further, possibly. Even is fine, of course. So don't think you have to get it past there. That's even, that's actually enough. But if it goes a little bit further, it'll just help you with the next step a little. Okay, so turn that foot in. Now here's where we take a long step. This is not an empty step like one of these totally empty steps. You do put your weight straight down, but like I've said with some of the other postures, although you're putting your weight straight down into it, you've got to make sure you're still doing it gracefully. So I don't want to see people plonking their weight down into that leg. You've got to come from this posture, you've turned it in, take a long step by sinking in that right leg, see, and then the rear foot drags just a little bit further to come into this nice long stance. So, turn the foot in, one, you got to, see, I can only step to here, so you've got to sink down to take it, you want to make it about that. Again, there's no exact amount here, just take a nice long stance, enough so that you're feeling a stretch. You can do the posture like this, or you can do the posture like this. It's up to you, really. There's no right or wrong way. If you want to do it just here, if that's enough for you, do it like that. If you feel, oh, I'd like to get a bit more of a stretch, all right, do it a little lower. I tend to do it both ways, depending on how I'm feeling and what I want from my training in that particular day. The next movement will also be affected by how low you go here. So if you just do it here, the next movement will be quite easy. You've got to hop back. If you take this stance, this is why I like to do it low, not so much even for the stretch here, but now I've got to push off this and hop back into that rear leg, which is more difficult, and therefore I've got to generate more force and thus training my body more. So this is why I would take a longer step when I do it. So that's your footwork. Turn your foot in, sink down into the posture. You don't have to keep your body totally vertical like in some of the other postures. You can sink down like this, let your body go down as you step out, and then come back up to straight as that rear foot turns around. So it's like your body comes down like that, you see. When you come into a long stance like this, especially a front weighted one, the tendency will be you'll come in, and now, see, I'm standing incorrectly. The weight now is in the ball of my left foot. So you must make sure when you come into this low stance, you pull back, you hold your core strong, and keep that weight in the sweet spot. Don't let your weight rock into the ball of the foot. The rear foot, keep it planted on the ground, don't let it sag to the inner edge. Push it out, keeping that knee strong to get that nice stretch coming through here. Okay, the hands. What do we have to do with the hands in this one? The hands are not that difficult. with this posture. What we're going to do is simply turn your left hand over to palm up. I'm just checking every now and again in case it's going to start pouring down so the camera doesn't get wet, but I think we're okay for a little while. Sorry if that wind noise is getting a little loud, but I'm sure you can still hear me. So I'm trying to get this done so I can get it out on YouTube. I'm out living on the road at the moment, so I've got no dojos or anything to film in. Okay, so we're going to turn the left hand over, just like that. From where it is, turn it palm up. I think we may have to cut it. No, that's okay. It's just teasing. Oh, maybe not. I'll show you this move. Right, hands like that, okay? It's going to do a counterclockwise circle. See? Just rotate the hand over, touch your ring finger and your thumb together like this. Little finger just tucks in and pointer two fingers stick out. What you want to get in this posture is yangness, a yang structure in here in the two fingers that are sticking out, and even though the fingers are touching, they're yin. So if you put your finger through there, you see, my finger goes straight through. I'm not squeezing the hand together. I've got yin and yang within the hand. So I've got yang in the two pointed fingers and yin, so just a very light touch between those two fingers. It's just teaching my body about yin and yang, so that I can actually hold some tension in one part of the hand, but total softness in another part of my hand. This applies on a different level to the body, obviously, like there, yang in that leg, total softness in the empty leg. It's much more difficult to get it all within one part of the body. So with the hands are where we first learn about this concept of yin and yang within one portion of the body. Okay, so that's what the hand does. From there, roll it over and make the hand. See? Like so. As you do that, I'll do it at the front of the camera so you can see, and then we'll get back onto the circle. As you do that, the right hand simply lifts up and over. Very simple. Just do a counterclockwise circle. It's down there, yang, just let it lift up, yin, bring it with your center, so turn it with your body, just let it come up and over. See? And then it's just going to continue from there. As you step down, that right hand, see? So it's just doing one movement, up to the front, over, and press down in front of your body. So it's going to be just here, just in front of your hip, kind of thing. The left hand, which was here, the upper hand, is going to do that little turn. It does the little turn as you turn the foot. Okay, so one. But see how it's followed my body, so I haven't obviously left the hand there, because when I turn the foot, I've got to turn my body. It's not a foot movement like this, as I've explained. You have to turn from your center as you turn that foot. So, because you're turning from your center, as you rotate the hand over, everything's going to move together because it's connected to your center. Okay, so you're going to turn the foot, rotate the hand, bring the right hand up to the outside, like so. Now you're going to do your big long step. As you do that big long step, you're going to slam down and strike with the back of your left palm, like so. Notice how the back of the palm is where the firing direction is. It's not twisted up yet. Just do it this way. It's on an angle, you see, like that. As you come up to the strike, it's going to twist, so now it's palm up. So as it comes down, it's like the lateral back of the palm is traveling laterally, and then as it comes up, you see it digs and twists into the posture. Remember, keep these three bottom fingers here, well, the two fingers and the thumb, soft, and the top two fingers flexed. So that stretch that we do in the palm, like so, put that stretch only in these two fingers. Later on, we do this a lot more with a lot of other postures, but in the beginning, this is the first posture we learn about this concept. Right. So, turn the hand, bring the hand over, turn the foot. As I step, bang, I'm going to do that strike. One, well, technically it's just after, the foot would hit the ground just after this one would hit, but roughly together. Like that. Now you don't stop there, you just keep going through. As your weight comes forward, your left hand's going to go 1, 2. See it? You're blocking something down and then bouncing off into the neck with the fingers, like so. 1, 2. But it's a smooth motion that goes through like so. Keep your weight back in the heel, in the sweet spot. Arch your foot. Don't forget your principles we've already learned. Okay, so it's one movement. I'll just show you that hand. Turn the hand over. Oh, and even from here, as I say, don't stop there. Watch the whole movement. You see? So the hand from here goes over, down, up. One, like a hawk tumbling into to catch something. From there, 1, 2, 3. Okay? So the 1 is as you turn the foot in, the 2 is as you take the step, the 3 is as you bring the weight fully forward and the rear toes will drag around. This stance is very similar to this posture, only it's longer. So just think of that posture with reference to the alignment of the body and then just make it longer. That's really the only difference with what we're doing there. Okay, the right hand that's much more simple. As you turn the foot in, lift it up over your head. Then as you drop forward and take the step and bring the weight forward, this just pushes down in front of you there. So very, very easy. So from here we go 1, 2, 3, like so. Okay, weights in the front leg obviously, about 80%, and sticking those fingers up at your own neck height. Like so. Alright, that rain's coming in now. Come back to you later. Okay, we're back. We've got a little break in the weather. It's not raining anymore. Okay, where were we? Monkey picks the fruit. From here, we come in. That's what we want, see? Hand comes up and just, see how it just tucks in at the end of the posture? Sink down as you come into that leg. And see how I did it then? I still plonked, oh no, I didn't plonk. I still put weight straight down into that foot, but I didn't plonk. I still did it gracefully. That's what I was talking about before. Send it over, turn the foot in. Now, basically what you've got to do is, if you plonk the weight, it's very easy, look. Anyone can do that. But you've got to use the strength in your right thigh to sink low enough to be able to take this step and still do it without hearing that stomping sound. So I'm not saying it's an empty step, like I said before, but it's a gracefully weighted step. Okay, so there, like so. Turn it over, sink down, throw your hand, and come into the posture. This posture, like I was saying earlier about the bear, it's got something to do with the eyes, something to do with the energy side of things, the attitude side of things is a better way to describe it. When you come down into this posture, the bear stance is like you're focused on that target. You don't care what else is going to hit you because you're a bear and nothing else attacks a bear. The monkey, imagine the monkey going down to the river. It's aware of everything around it because it's a small monkey. We're assuming a small monkey here, of course, not like a silverback gorilla or something. So when we come into this particular posture, we're going to come from here. Now watch what happens when I come down. See that? You're checking. I'm not saying you look over there and look over here kind of thing, but your eyes are just glazed over, but you're just taking in everything. You're aware of what's going in. Just again, picture in your mind. A lion or a tiger, they focus. Whereas the monkey, it's a bit, what's happening? Am I safe? Can I go and get that fruit when it's going up to pick the fruit? That's the attitude you've got to have here. So from this move, you've just done an explosive movement here. Oh well, if you're doing the basics, we won't have done it explosively, of course. We're doing it fairly softly, but come down. See, that's what we want. Just a little bit of a scan at the bottom, at the base end of the movement. Okay, the monkey. Right, so we've just dealt with this guy here. We're going to slap him in the back of the neck. Remember, we've hit him already with this movement. So we're going to come, strike him in here. The left hand's there to cover whatever else is happening, but the main movement is slapping him in the back of the head. As I do that, of course, I've turned my foot in. Primarily, I'm dealing with this guy to the rear, but I want to make sure this guy's finished because I've only really flicked him in the face. I haven't done something that might, totally knock him out. So from here, I'm going to slap him around the back of the neck, bang like that with a slightly cupped hand, like so. And I'm just going to yank his head down, like so, down into the floor. And possibly even getting down onto my knee, but just throw his head into the concrete, that'll do. Remember, in the street, we're not fighting on mats. Okay, so that's what we've done there. So we've finished off this guy. We take him around the back of the head. As we deal with the next guy, we simply throw him down into the floor. You're coming through with, say, a low one in here again. That's it. Bang. So this is the monkey picks the fruit, like so. So I'm taking that there. As I slam him down, and bounce that off. You see, it's a bounce shot. Sometimes we slip, sometimes we bounce, sometimes we ricochet, and so on. This case, it's a bounce off. fingers going straight into the neck. Again, this shape that we make of the hand, this is an energetical thing, as I've explained in the solo form. In a fighting sense, you just jab your fingers in there. You wouldn't bother making some shape like that, or you could punch him or palm him, do what you want there. The principles of the body movements when we're looking at application. So fingers into the neck, like so. That could go into the eyes also. As you've seen, the body positioning here, we're not down in the low position like we were in the form. That's for stretching and strengthening. In application, you're just going to be up in a more upright kind of posture. So we've struck him in the neck there. Okay, now we've got to do the monkey. So that's the monkey picks the fruit. You see, go out to get something. Now we do the monkey hides in the cave to eat the fruit. So you're jumping back and hiding. Then after that, we do the monkey spits the fruit, which is coming out this way, representing throwing up. It doesn't like the fruit. Okay, so we'll come back. I'll do it on a circle first. So we've got our both heels on the circumference now. The feet are just a little bit open from parallel. Okay, what you've got to do here is hop backwards. You've got to push straight off this left leg, you see, into a toe stance. So your right heel stays on the circle, so it hops back, trying to keep that right heel on the circle. Your left toe comes onto the circle like so. What's important here is, you're in this low stance, watch, but this is how it should be done. See? I'm not going to do this. See? Don't load down, don't tilt your body to then throw your body back. The whole idea of the posture is, it's making you do something without any preparation, just like that, like you're startled. It's the startled monkey. So this is teaching you that when you get attacked, even if you're attacked and you're surprised in that attack, as in you didn't know it was coming, hopefully, and of course not just this move, but we do a lot of other training methods like this as well with two people and so on, but this is what this posture is based upon, is that when you feel that shock in your body, that little thing you feel in your belly when you get frightened or shocked about something, hopefully the idea of the training is when you feel that movement, your fingers come straight out into the eyes or into the neck, you see? So rather than thinking, now in this particular posture, we're just coming back into a pose. We're not worrying yet about the strikes. We're just working, as I say, basics first. So basic structures first. But the idea being, you're developing power off that front leg without any preparation. You see, it's easy to develop power off that leg if you prepare first and then push back. So just sit into the posture, push straight off this leg, you see, and hop back. I'd rather see someone holding the stance like this and hopping back than holding the stance low and then having to load to hop back. Here comes the rain again. Back in a moment. Okay, we're back. I currently have blue skies above me. It's a miracle. Now I've forgotten where I was. I was hopping backwards, that's right. Okay, so we were hopping backwards into the posture. So I think the last thing I said was we were hopping back, making sure you do not in any way tilt forward. From this position, you see, just boom, like a grenade going off underneath your left foot. Just hop straight back. You don't have to hop far. It's not like a leap, 3 feet backwards or something. Your rear foot will only move, I don't know, have a look at it. Half a foot or a foot, just a small amount. There's no exact amount to do, but roughly somewhere up to about a foot. But as you hop backwards, the importance is what I've said, just push back, just drop that foot straight back onto the circle. You do land slightly in the toe and then back into the heel, so it's a soft landing. You're not dropping into the heel. And then the front leg comes into the toe stance. When we're in the toe stance, and we should be facing this way, like so on the circle, like so, heel and toe on the circle, there's a forward angle to the left shin. So don't pull it in like this. It's out there, like so. I guess your feet are in a similar posture as when we came up out of the, out of that one, out of the chicken, and then came into the slap step. The only difference is you'll be much lower this time. So, when we hop backwards, you're down low, right? We're down in this low posture. Watch when I hop backwards, you stay down low. Don't go like this and stand up. It's the monkey hiding in the cave, so you're down low, you're hiding in the cave. Your right hand doesn't really do anything. It maybe just slightly bends in, like so, just retracts a little, just a fraction, but it's effectively staying where it is. The left hand, however, is going to pull back like as if it's coming back towards your ear, like that. But just a little bit, you see, it doesn't have to come right in here on your ear, but that's where it's coming to. It's a blocking motion. Keep in mind, this kind of action, as I've explained with a lot of postures, you wouldn't perform it like this for its martial purpose. The purpose of the big leap back is to develop leg strength and so on. Martially, for starters, you'd just be standing normally. You wouldn't be down in a posture like this when someone attacks you. So you'd be standing here. So martially, that's what we were looking at, you see. That's the martial intention. But you'll learn that later on. Don't worry about that now. It's just so you don't get confused and think, oh, well, what would this posture be? Because it is a martial art, right? So you'd be taking a block here and poking him in the eyes with your fingers. And I've shown this I will show this in the martial section of the video. Okay, so the technical structures are just pull that hand back towards, just past your left eye and hop back. Nice and low. Because you're low, you're likely to put your weight off, maybe on the toe or the outer edge or something, so really concentrate on centering down through the sweet spot, front of the heel, as we hop back. It'll burn in here, you'll really work that thigh strong. Eyes are looking straight out to the front here. Notice the body, the center, is slightly on the side, so I turn back to my left as I sit backwards. You see the end posture? I'm a little bit open to the final posture. I'm not like this, you see. I'm just like a natural boxing stance, this kind of thing. You don't stand like this when you're about to fight someone. It's a typical, depends on your style, I guess, but just look at a classical boxer sort of a style. You hold your body slightly side on, like so. So that's what we're looking at, except the fact that you're crouched down, your eyes are looking out here, but your head is with your body. Don't tilt your neck up. Keep your neck with your body, chin tucked in, lifting from the spine. Even though you're crouched down, you're still applying most of the principles, apart from the vertical spine principle. So you're still like so. Okay, we've got to hop forward now. So we're nearly finished this third palm change. This third palm change is, I think it's actually probably the longest palm change in the whole form, because a lot of the other palm changes we'll be going on to, they may be longer, but they have a lot more repeated movements that we've already learnt. So this palm change is actually probably one of the longest in the form. Okay, but we're nearly done, and I want to get it done tonight so I can upload this and let you start learning. Okay, we're now going to do the hop back. The hop back in the form, remember we hop a fair way back, we come back like so. That's again totally for the energetical side of training and the strengthening bodybuilding side of things. In application, the movement from here would look more like, it just look like that, you see. You'd just be just dropping your body weight down into that right leg as you bring this through, like so. That's what we're looking at with the monkey attitude, you see. So that's how we've got to look at the application. Remember, don't change your solo form based on the application. The application is different to exactly how we do it in the solo form. So he's coming through with a what are you doing? A right straight punch up to my face. Okay. Yeah, coming through here. So you see that's yielding back. It's going with the flow. This is indicating the small monkey. Some monkey forms indicate like the gorilla type of attacks. This is obviously indicating the smaller monkey. So he's coming through with that one. That's what we're looking at. See. So we've dropped our body weight, protecting ourselves, covering the knee there in case of anything coming through. That's the toe stance. Taking the block here and fingers into the eyes with that one there. This one can be covering this or striking here. In the solo form, in the basic form, it's just guarded, ready. So that's the main concept to have in your mind when you're doing your solo practice. The physical application is taking a block back, and in the solo form, we just hop back and take it there. In the basics, we don't do the strike, in the basics. Remember, I keep drilling that into you. Do not do something unless I tell you to, because when you add stuff that is the advancements of your training too early, then you don't get your groundwork solidified. So you must solidify your basic groundwork. If you start thinking of this and this and this, I'm kicking him here, then you won't get that basic understanding of grounding. So we're focusing on one thing at a time. So that's that one there. We've taken that into there like so. Right, so we've hopped back. Okay, footwork. The toe is on the ground. What you're going to do first is just pick your foot up and put it back down. That's it. Very simple. Just up, down. Okay? As you put it down, you come forward, like so. So you go up, forward, and then you're just going to hop through onto your right foot like so. Notice how I've landed with my right whole foot on the circumference of the circle, so it's not turned out or in. The heel and the toe are on the circumference of the circle. My left foot has come through, I'll just show you to the front, and it's come through like that, slightly turned in, like the heel is coming off the knee, like so. That's going to be your posture. You're still down low, you haven't stood up yet. Some styles of Bagua, some teachers do teach this posture, hop back and then stand up into the posture, but the way that my father taught me was to stay down in the posture, to develop that leg strength even more so in the movement, rather than just, I find it's a lot easier, not to say it's wrong, you know, someone else teaching it that way may have their reasons for teaching it as an upright kind of posture. But yeah, in our system, the way that we teach, we keep it low. That's not rain, that's just the trees. Okay, so hop back, bang. Pick up, hop, 2, 3. See, it's a little hopping action. The reason we do that is just a coordination thing. Well, it has a martial application in that you could be checking, you know, someone's gone to boot you in the leg or something, so you just checked it by lifting up your foot so that he doesn't get any weight into your foot, because if it's empty, it's not going to be damaged as much. So it's move your foot, and then comes straight through into your next movement. So that's why we do that. But it's also a fantastic coordination thing. But so many people, and they'll go, all right, I can just hop onto that leg, that's easy enough. They'll say, now pick up the other leg, pick it up first, and they'll go, and they get all confused. So it's a training method for your coordination. So that's what we're doing there. Pick it up, put it down, hop through. But see how I followed the circle, of course. So I'm following the circle around as I do that movement. Up, down as the weight comes forward. Hop onto this right foot, just in front of the left. Doesn't have to be like leaping forward, just in front of where the other foot was. And then the left foot comes through like so. We're not doing a kick in the basic form, but in application that would be coming up into the groin. But don't worry about putting power into it now, just worry about the balance and the structure. Okay. So notice how the foot's turned inward, like so. You see it's slightly concave. It's not kicking out, it's coming up with the ball of the foot actually kicking. Okay, hands. What have we got to do with our hands? I'll just show you the hands separately. Literally all you're going to do with your hands is this. Okay? So your left hand just pushes straight down. Very simple. Your right hand comes up your center and out to the front. So don't watch the angle of my right hand from here. It's not this. It's not a straight line from where it is to where it's going. It comes up your center and out like a circular line, like this. That's why it's called monkey spits the fruit, you see? It's coming out this way. So bring it up your center and out. This is because in some of the martial applications, perhaps you're taking a block here and his arm might be in the way. So if you bring it straight up, you get your arm stuck. So you've got to bring it right up the center to make space and then get him in the eyes or the neck and so on. Okay, so we're down low. Pick it up. As you start to place your weight forward, your hands start moving. I'll just do it marking time so I'm not hopping. Place the foot, and just as you come through with the left foot, your palms would come into posture, you see? It shouldn't be done with a step like that. It should be done as a hop, even if you're doing it slowly, but just so you can get the timing of things right. So 1, up, down, 2, 3. And I'm still low in the posture. I've got my chin tucked in, head lifted, but eyes looking straight out past my right fingers. Okay, now doing it with the correct hop, we're going to go up, like that. Okay? Up, down, hop through. You're low the whole time. That's the importance of this. Watch. Down low, down low, down low, down right low, and back up. So the whole segment, you're down low, and then finally you come up into the last posture. So that's the next move, obviously, and then we finish the form. I finish the third palm. Okay. We're on a roll, we're going to get this done. Okay, so I've given you the timing. Hop back, lift, place, slam down. Of course, if you're doing it slowly, it's just going to come through like this, but the intention of that is to strike down. This one's coming through, and the intention on that one is the fingers and the palm. Kind of like the none offers food that we did, the same palm shape, only of course the hand's out there by itself this time. So we've hopped back, up, down, hop through. So when you hop, of course, this is difficult because you're down low. Watch. As I hop, there's the pickup. As I hop, watch. See, it's like a transfer of the feet. Don't allow the hopping action to do that. Don't lift up into the hop. You've literally got to, like you could be under a low roof and not hit your head. That's what we want. Up, down, you see? Like so. Okay, your final posturing there, if I do it towards the camera, again see how it's slightly open. I'm not like this with my shoulders squared in. My shoulders are slightly open into that posture. So slightly open to the left when I'm doing it. Weight again, focus your weight down through the sweet spot of your right heel as you do that posture, like so. Okay, so I've come to there. I'm going to pick this foot up. This is just indicating a check. Maybe he's gone to kick me in the groin or something. And I've just checked him there with that foot. As I hop forward, this can be several different applications. I can either take his neck, like so, and take my forearm across his forehead. Bang, that's indicating this movement. Or this could also be, say that same right hand punch coming low this time. So I've dealt with that and I could be blocking down, you see? So I'm jumping through and doing that finger strike to the eye. So we're striking down with the left palm and striking up with this one. You could also do it to this side as well if you threw the more of an upper one. You take the block here, of course. Again, not exactly the same as it's done in the form, but just to give you an idea, you could have taken that block out there, you see? So you could take the block here, he could then throw a low punch down, or an upper punch, that's another variation, but yeah, down here and then back into that one. And of course you've hopped onto your right leg. This is indicating a kick straight up onto the groin with your, not with your toe itself, just this portion of the sort of knuckle of the toe, straight up into the groin, like so. And you're still fairly well down low with that posture. Okay, now the time has come for the duck posture. This posture is called the duck lands on water. You've got to splay yourself down like an arrow going into the ground. So what's going to happen here is, I'll show you the feet first. So obviously the left foot's off the ground. It's important to have your right foot placed on the circle. If you've jumped through, this is a common mistake, people jump through like that, you see, with the foot turned out. And then when they go down for this posture, the knee will buckle in, because the knee wants to be here, in which case the foot has to be there also. So when you do this posture, your standing leg is facing in the same direction as where your fingers are pointing. Okay, as we go down, you've got to throw your left leg, kick it backwards across the center of the circle, well, not the very center, but across the midline of the circle and back onto the circumference on the other side. This will vary on how long your legs are, of course, as to the angle that you'd be going back, and also the size of your own circle. But you just want to kick that back like that. Place your heel on the circle. See how the feet now, like so, they're just off parallel. So there would be parallel, they're just a fraction open from parallel when we go into that posture. So you're down low, you're still down low, so you're just going to, again, you can't stand up of course because you're going down into a further low posture, a really low posture now. And just take that leg, as you drop your weight, see that? Drop that leg out and shove your heel backwards onto the circumference of the circle. So you get a big long stance. You just have to work with this to figure out how far you need to go back. You know, first time you might go too long or too short. You need to feel the posture out for yourself, for your own level of flexibility, and then figure out where you need to place your foot. As long as you're getting your feet aligned, which are just open from parallel. Don't open them too much, otherwise your knees will go out of alignment. The golden rule with this posture is to make sure your standing knee is of course in line with your foot. So I don't care which direction you turn your foot, as long as you do not do this. If your foot's here and this foot's back here, but you're holding that in a line, I'm not going to judge you too much. You won't have the posture correct, but at least you're not hurting yourself. What should be happening is these hips should be turning, in which case the foot has to turn with it, because I can't do the posture correctly with the foot turned out. The feet have to be roughly parallel, but as I say, a little bit open. Okay, I'll just give you the postural principles of the posture itself, and then I'll show you how to get into it. So you're going to have to go down into the posture, figure out where it goes. You're probably going to need a friend to help you with this. Show them the video, show them what it looks like when someone does the posture correctly, and then just tell them, you know, is my arm in alignment? Where's this arm? Because you can't see your hand out the back. So the front hand's usually okay, but the rear hand, people are doing all sorts of things with that arm. So you've got to have someone check so you can go, okay, so that's where it feels, you memorize that sensation of when it's in the correct position, and then hopefully you can start going into it correctly. So let's have a look at the posture itself. We want to sink down into your front leg, like so. So drop that hip down, like that. But notice how I'm leaning down into the posture. It's not like snake creeps down in the Taiji form where we keep the body upright. It's a totally different posture, though the legs kind of look similar. Very, very different stretch that we're getting. So feet almost parallel, a little bit open. Sink your weight primarily down into this leg. I don't know what the percentage is. You're probably 80%, 80 to 90% in this front leg. There's just that natural weight, how much has to be in there. All I would say is, with regard to the weighting, for example, notice how now my center of gravity is here. Try to get your center of gravity as far over your standing leg as you can without coming so far that your heel lifts up. So think about your center of gravity being primarily over this bent leg. Okay, as you sink that hip down, you go down into the posture, you see? Like you're laying your chest down across your right thigh, like so. See how my right shoulder is coming down almost to touch my right knee. You don't have to touch your shoulder on your knee. This was an alignment that my father gave, put your shoulder on your knee, which worked for certain people. It worked for him, but some people have long torsos and short legs, or long legs and short torsos, so a lot of alignments you may come up with that fit, they may not fit everyone. So I don't like to say it should be this based on what my body aligns to. So I just give you a rough idea, but you've got to make it fit your body, of course. So roughly, the torso is in line with this leg, you see? In other words, it shouldn't be over here, or it shouldn't be somewhere over here. The body is in line with this leg. My rib cage of the right side is laying down onto the thigh, the top of the thigh. The left hand is fairly easy. It's both palms are up, facing up to the sky. The left hand is like that. See how it's level with the leg? So that's not level, that's not level. Now it's level with the leg. Also, it should be parallel to the leg. So I'll show you this way. You see, now it's not parallel. Now it's not parallel. Now it's roughly parallel. Okay, like that. Don't worry, here or here. This doesn't have to be identically exact, just so long as it's not stuck out this way or stuck out this way. It's roughly facing the same direction as your lengthened leg. The right hand, which spirals under, that's the difficult hand because it's the one you can't really see, even if you look back at it. And, you know, just to look, because obviously you will be looking towards your long leg in the posture, but you can obviously look back just to check your hands in the right place, but in the posture you're in, you can't really bend that way to actually have a good look. So this is why I say have a friend look at you, or video yourself, or look in a mirror, have a mirror in front of you. You can look up and go, oh yeah, where's my arm, and so on. That's how I learnt whenever, I mean, most of the time I had my dad there teaching me, but if I was doing my solo training and, you know, working on it, then I'd go and ask him some questions. A lot of the time I would do it with a mirror in front of me. Okay, so going down into this very difficult posture. Take it easy, please. You can really put too much strain on your hips, your knees if you do it slightly incorrectly. It's a very extreme posture if you're not used to these kind of stretches. Dad told the story of the first time he did this. He was young and fit, and, you know, he would have been, what would he have been, I don't know, 30, 35, something like this. No, probably younger than that, probably 30 or something, when he first started doing the Bagua. And he said, oh, you know, he'd done so many other things before it, but he went whoop, straight down to the posture, tried it, pulled his hamstring and just fell back on his back. So, you know, you've got to get used to things you haven't done before. So just do it easy first and then work your way up to dropping into it very quickly. So, okay, posture. Sink down. You do not want to feel any pressure in this hip. So if you feel it like a bone on bone, like a grinding or something, you know you're not holding yourself upright, you're slacking into the posture. So for example, here, if I go like that, now I'm sagging in here. I've got to hold that hip up because I'm at a 90-degree angle on this hip, so I can't go down too far. At 180 degrees this way, you can go further. So because you've got more limited, you've got more restrictive movement when you open your hips this way than when you do this way, naturally. So as we go down, you are at 90 degrees with the hip to the left leg angle. But as I go down, see how I'm holding structure in my body. I'm not going sloppy into the posture. I'm holding my structural integrity in the legs. I'm squeezing my inner quad to hold that foot flat on the ground. Don't let it sag in. all of these postures, you've really got to hold your structure, lift. Even though you're sinking, in that posture that you're going to be in, think, lift your core up. You see, I'm like this. I'm not like that. That's where you're going to do yourself a damage, is if you relax too much into it. Like I said with the this posture, the take off the head posture, you don't want to just relax totally into it. You'll damage your lower back. You've got to engage here to hold that posture. So when you go down here, you've got to engage the thigh muscles to hold yourself up, even though you're dropping. Okay, almost done. Right, so as we go down, you stretch that hand out, you look back at your right hand. A thing to note with the right hand, basically where you want it is, if you stand by your side like that with your palms facing backwards, just lift that hand as far as it can go. It's unlikely you'll be able to lift it like right over your head without letting it turn to this way. If you keep your thumb pointed down, most people, unless you're really flexible or something, I don't think most people can lift much. Like I can go a little bit above shoulder height. To go any further, I've got to roll the shoulder, which I shouldn't be doing. I should be keeping the shoulder back. So that's as far as I can go. So if you think that position, in line with your body, as high as you can go without going backwards or forwards, that's roughly where you're going to be wanting to place your arm when you're down in this posture. So let's have another go. Sink down, lengthen this arm following your leg, lengthen this arm up to the top here, and look down towards your lower leg, like so. So that's the posture, okay? From here, I'll show you how to get up. You're going to come straight into the moon, holding the moon in your breast posture, and sit back, you see? Okay, now I've got to show you how to get down into the posture. Okay, when we do this one, okay, so just the hands. I've shown you the legs, how to get down into it with the legs. Now what the hands do. The hand, you finish in this posture, remember. So your hands are one down, one up. They're both just simply going to scoop inward, okay, like this. Point both your fingers in towards your belly, like so. What? Well, left fingers into your belly, right fingers maybe into your chest because it's the upper hand. So like that, point them both in, spiral them under your arms, like that, and then shoot them out. And that's going to go into your posture as you go down, you see? So they spiral in and spiral out into that palm up position. So, okay, we're there like that. As you drop, straight into the movement. See, like that. Make sure your weight's still in your sweet spot of the right leg. Don't let it rock into the toe, as I've explained. Keep it up. I'm still in frame, yes. Stretch down, lift this up, and go right down over that standing thigh, like so. Do not drop your bum down to the ground. Even if you can keep that foot on the ground, don't drop your bum. Hold your bum up. Your hip should be roughly the same height as your knee in the posture. That's what you're aiming for. So I'll just show you from this angle. See that? That's parallel to the ground. It's horizontal. I don't want to go so low that my bum has dropped below my knee. I'm holding it up like so and diving into that particular posture, like that. Okay, I'll just show you that to the front so you can see the angle of that. So we come down like so, look up to it, check where it is, look back, and then push straight up into your front leg and settle back into your rear leg as you do it. Okay, coming back into how to go down into the posture. I think I've covered everything there that you need. It's a very difficult posture. It's not necessarily like difficult because there's a lot of intricate things in there. It's just physically hard, and you're just going to have to work on it. You just do the feet first, then add the hands, and just, you know, work your way up. A good idea is to do it from here and just kind of go, just to get that idea of the flow before you try to go right down into the posture. Because you'll usually find after about 10 times you're going to be, oh, my leg, and you won't be able to walk the next day. When you're practicing this, by the way, I think I might have said this at the beginning, but maybe I didn't. Don't learn the entire palm change on one side before trying it on the other side. Because you're going to be sitting here practicing this on the leg all day, trying to get it right. The next day you're going to be all lopsided in your body. So when you're practicing the form, go, okay, right, I just practiced this move, I've just learnt that posture. Okay, I should practice that on the other side. Okay, so I've done that both on both sides. Now I'll go on and practice the next move. I should practice that on the other side. To do that, and that way your body will learn on both sides. I've always found with the teaching that I've done, the longer you practice something on one side, the longer it will take, or rather, the more awkward it feels on the second side. But if you do them kind of straight away, there's no reason for it to feel awkward, because it doesn't feel like, oh, hang on, I've been doing it that side so long. You're not transferring anything. You're just like, okay, I've done that, so now if I reverse it, okay, and so on. Okay, so you're down low. You scoop the hands in, drop straight down into the posture. You just got to literally drop on that right leg. It's a difficult posture. You've got to do a one-legged squat as you put this leg out to the rear. Notice how, I didn't say that before, notice how the toe goes down on the ground and then the heel. So you're getting a bit of a graceful land. So you place the toe just before the heel and press your weight then into your heel as you go into the posture. Okay, that's what we want. Now, to come up, you've got to push your weight into your left leg, but then sit it back. So this posture is still a back-weighted posture. Don't think that the posture is front leg and then you sit back to do the next posture. That's not what it is. You push into your front leg like you're barging into someone. Someone's throwing a kick and you're barging into his guard and blocking his kick down here. You'll see that in a moment when I show the martial application. So yeah, you want forward intention. But as soon as you've done that, you settle back to pull him onto your follow-up strike. So, from down there in the posture, you're going to come push off that right leg, straight up into your left leg, but as soon as your right leg shuffles up, you sit back into it, okay? So you're down there low, watch, you're going to push up, as soon as this leg, just like that. So it's not like this, it's not like a totally back-weighted step up like we did with, for example, the slap step. That was staying in the back foot. We're not doing that. We are shifting the weight into the front leg in this case. So we're pushing the weight forward into the front leg, but as soon as that rear leg comes off the ground, that's when you start to sit back again, and then obviously you place the leg. So that would be your timing cue for that one. You're down low, push your weight up. By the way, when you stand up, notice how I swivel on the left heel. Push the heel so that it comes onto the circumference, so that's turned in like so, of course. As you come up, turn the toe onto the circumference rather than swiveling on the heel. And as you do that, you're going to push from that right leg, twist from your center, push that toe all at once. Again, this is just physically difficult. It's not so much difficult from a coordination point of view. So, push, twist, swivel all at once. But as soon as that foot comes off the ground, as soon as it leaves the floor, watch, what? You just effectively just let yourself start falling backwards. Because when you do that posture, you see, you're going to fall backwards. You're going to fall backwards. My father always picked me up on saying gonna, but who cares? We're gonna fall backwards. Okay. We push up, like so, push straight off that leg as you swivel on the front heel, and just as I say, just let yourself fall backwards. You're going to push up. You will end up about here, like knee over toe, a proper front stance. But before that foot hits the ground, you'll start falling backwards into that into that rear leg. So it looks like that, like so. And you're just back into that normal position, front foot on the line and rear heel on the line. But the importance here is, of course, you've got to shoot up from that lower position. So like we did with the monkey, when we're down here, we're not going to go, you know, it shouldn't be a struggle. It will be a struggle in the beginning, but you're working your way to not being a struggle. So you just got to, boom, just push straight up from there, and just stand up with power to your posture. Martially, of course, you're never going to be down in a posture like that. The duck lands on water is the epitome of a movement that has no martial context. There is a martial application for it, but of course you wouldn't go right down into the posture to perform the application, as you will see soon. So, let's do that one more time. Lift that right arm up, lift up, and I've got to show what the hands do, don't I? Lift your left hand up into the hold the breast posture, just like we did in the fourth palm change when we spun around and we did that one, remember? So we struck out first and then we folded it up the center. In this case, the hand is already out, so it's already struck, so it just folds up. Very simple. The right hand, which is out here, it doesn't come down across the top, it comes diagonally, like so, through the center. So from where you are, you see, it doesn't go this way or this way. It dives, like so, straight down the center, because you want to get to the target as soon as possible in this case. So you're down there like that, fold this hand up the center, slam that right hand down, and then as soon as that strike, you sit down. So if you were doing it martially, when you're doing it slowly, of course, it just comes up and relax down. But even when you're doing it slowly, you still have the idea of where was the strike in your mind. So if you do it a little bit faster, you can give that idea to your body as to where would the impact be for the movement. So the impact is there before you sit back. The impact is not as you're sitting back. The impact is on the forward movement because you're barging into a kick. Okay, so fold that hand up, slam this hand down. So you're still getting that sort of action, kind of, but it's just a little smaller this time. Like so. And we're going to come up, turn on that heel. When you come up with this rear foot, you've of course, don't come through the center, up like that, because you've got to keep your leg on the line. So, down like so. See that? I've got to almost sweep the leg. If I just come up straight, it's going to come through the center. I've got to come up, but actually sweep that leg a little bit out to get it back to the circle, to get me back in the right structural point. Okay, so here, push up and settle back. Okay. Notice the body's turned in. Don't turn the body this way or this arm will be out of line. So turn the body in so it's in line with this leg, as I've said, and push up. Okay, this brings us to the duck. The duck crashing on the water. Okay, this one's obviously, as you've seen in the solo form, the stretch of the movement is a totally ridiculous posture. You're never going to use that. That's the posture, right? It's all right, you're allowed to laugh. So obviously it doesn't have a martial application of why to go down that low. That's for the stretching side of things. But there is still an application to have in your mind. So you've done that movement there, you've got his arm here, you've got his neck here, you see? So as I go down, watch what the hands do. This one is going to twist in like so. It twists in and then pushes out to the rear. The right hand, in the form, we twist the arm. The reason we twist the arm to palm up is to get this twisting and wrenching on the shoulder. If I just do it like that in the posture with the arm like so, nothing really is happening. It's a bit easy, you see? So the solo form is done with an extra twist right up. Now I'm feeling this lovely twisting stretch through the arm. The application though, we're actually going to chop with this hand. So let's see. I've got his arm here, I've just done, what have I done? I've done that one, bang, you see? Kicked him in the groin, gone like that. So I've choked him out, I've kicked him in the groin, he's already weakening, he's going down. I'm going to take this foot to the rear, which is going to pull him forward. Not only is it pulling him forward, it's twisting, getting this kind of thing happening again, to twist the elbow in, like so, like we've been doing a few times in these applications. The right hand is going to tuck in. Now in the form, as I say, you lead out with the fingers. You could, in theory, I guess, do that and poke him with your fingers, but you can see I'm not in a really good position to gain power there. Much better in the application just to chop with the palm, with the knife edge. So that's what's happening there. I drop my body weight, send that foot back to get the pull on, and then chop straight across his neck. So you see that's more like the application of the movement. It's still got the principles of what we do when we drop low. We're kicking that leg out to get momentum over here to pull on the arm. We're dropping our body weight to further get momentum to drop his body. We're pulling on his arm and we're striking him across the neck. The only difference is we twist the arm and of course we go a lot lower to get the stretches happening in the posture. Okay, coming up out of that one, we've got the holding the breast posture again. Okay, what we're assuming here is you're just coming through with one of those into the side and you just got your guard up, you're coming through here, you see? So you're barging into him. As I say, you're not going to be down there, you're going to be, I don't know, somewhere more like this. So he's coming through with that, you see? See, that's the main point there, is to barge in. If I stand where I am and you put that kick into where you would feel comfortable, okay? So that's where he'd be positioned. If I stay where I am and he does that, look at what I'm blocking. I'm going to be taking my forearm versus his leg. I'd put my money on his leg, thank you very much. So as soon as he moves, you see, I'm going to barge straight into him. So this is what we've got to do when we're dealing with kicks. You've got to move in. If you're too far away and he throws a kick there, well, you know that he's too far away. He's throwing a fake kick. If I go to Chris, or I'm going to kick you, and I kick him now, he knows I can't reach him. If you just stay where you are, there's no way that I can reach him. So unless he sees that first, it's when he sees that he should move, you see? Don't wait for the kick to come through, wait for the movement. So we defend against kicks the same way that we defend against anything. You simply hit him as soon as you can. So don't put your focus down here, or when's this kick going to come through? As soon as you see my nose within range, boom, just bop me on the nose. Because I've got to move in close enough in order to do the kick. Now, yes, of course, a kick has got a longer range than a fist. However, you can just step in. I've still got to step in. Here, we can't hit each other. There's no way I can, with anything. I could maybe tickle him with my toe. But I basically can't hit him from this position. I've got to move my standing leg. Oh, I could maybe if I hit off the back leg, but of course that's going to be a lot longer. He's going to see that coming. So I've got to in some way move forward. Even if I kick off the back leg, that's still a forward movement because it's a weight shift. So I can either shift my weight like so, or I can shift my weight like so. I've got to move in. As soon as I move, you move. So he's hit me before there's any power in this leg. That's what we're looking at with this coming up. So the posture and the form is the same as what we came out of this posture. The only difference is it's got a forward intent. Remember last time we came out and it had more of a lifting intent, staying more or less on the spot. This time I'm down here. He comes through with that kick. Yeah, left there. You see? I've got to get above the knee. That's the important thing. Just lift your leg up again. I don't want to be blocking this on the shin or even on the knee. I've got to get past the knee. There's not going to be any power there for starters, and it's all nice and soft. So I'm not going to break my arm. If you take someone's shin, a good Muay Thai fighter or something, someone who knows how to kick with a shin, you're going to break your arm if you take a shin there. The other arm, of course, is just taking care of whatever's there. So you're obviously very much putting him off balance. Rather than just blocking the kick, I'm taking the other hand, I'm taking that through there to take him off balance. As soon as that's happened, watch the solo form. You come forward, but remember then we sit back. So as you're sitting back, that's taking you into the next movement. So he's come through there, I've barged in, now, just leave your feet on the ground, I'll just demonstrate just so I can do it slowly. Assuming I've knocked him backwards in some way. See, he's toppling backwards, he's trying to regain his structure. But as he tries to regain his structure, I pull him straight back, so you're going to really jerk his neck because he's going one way, and then back the other way, in for that final strike. So that's what happens when we come up, one, and then we sit back and into that follow-up strike. Finishing off from there is the same as what we've been practicing all along. Okay, we're done. All you've got to do now, shuffle back a little, there like so. Turn that foot. Okay, so we're ready now. You're in the same foot position as when we did this posture. Feet are in the same position. Hands are in the breast posture. So we're actually going to do exactly the same thing as how we finished off the second palm change. Remember, we came out of here, we came up from that posture, we turn out, do the dig, and back to center. So you're going to do exactly that set of movements. Well, I just did it, so that's how it's done. Nothing different there, so there's nothing new to learn. So just turn out of the center, strike with the right palm, slap it around, hook the foot, scoop the left hand as normal, bring it around. Nothing different here, exactly as we did in the first and second palm changes. And then, of course, you walk the circle once on your wobbly ground. And back to your starting point. Some people come up with ideas that you have to do 8 steps per circle and all these ridiculous things. It doesn't matter how many steps you do, so long as you end up at least back where you did, so you've done enough walking. The only reason we say to walk all the way around is just to make sure you get enough exercise walking. You can walk twice if you want, or 3 times. It really doesn't matter. You don't have to do everything by 8 just because you're doing Bagua. Okay, so you're back to your starting point. You're then going to do exactly the same as we've done all the way along. You're going to repeat the whole thing all the way around. Up to here, through to none offers food, fold it around, little step, 1, 2, spin all the way around, back to here, up to the hawk movement, the hawk swoops the fowl, step through, up into here. I'll just adjust a little bit so I can get on the circle here, bang, turn it around, lengthen down to here, hop back, pick it up, hop through into your next posture, scoop the hands in, shoot the foot backwards, lower yourself down, lift that hand right up in the air, push your weight up and settle backwards. And then of course, back into center again and walk around the circle. Okay, what else do we have to go over with that? Palms. When do we flex the palms? It's pretty obvious again, as I said, where do we flex the palms? So I'll just roughly go through it for you. So the major postures, of course, we flex the palms. So there we've got to flex. There we've got to flex, obviously. There we've got to flex because there's a strike. You're going to hook the hands around like that. Okay? Stretch your palms as you come into this posture, soften them a little bit here, and then as you come into the spin, you're going to stretch your palms a little bit again. Turn out of the circle, stretch your palms on that move, soften a little bit, stretch your hands into the pigeon flies to heaven. Soften your hands a little bit as you go into the next posture, as you come here, and then flex into the breast posture. Soften your hands a little, flex your hands a little, soften, and flex again for that final posture. From here, obviously, there's going to be a little bit of a soften just there, and then flex, flex as you carry on. When you come into the spin, you're going to spin around and of course keep your hands flexed for that particular posture. From there, we've got the hawk posture, so there's looseness in the palms, and then flex the palm afterwards. Step forward, looseness, flex the palm afterwards. Looseness and flex the palms, looseness and flex the palms. So pretty much between each posture you loosen the hands, and then on the posture you flex the palms, as I've said. Here, a little bit of a loosen, and as you come into posture, flex the hands into this posture. And then of course they'll loosen as you scoop, and as you go down you flex the postures, flex the palms on the ducklands and water, loosen and flex the palms, loosen and flex the palms, and then it's all the same as the rest. Alright, final little section, breathing for the third palm. What are we going to look at? So the beginning's the same as what we've done. Breathe in, breathe out, bang. You're going to breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in as you load it across, breathe out into posture. As I say, the breathing, there's no real right or wrong way. You can breathe in on certain postures and out on certain postures. As I've kind of explained this in the beginning, but the idea is just to get the breath to flow with your body. So it totally depends on the speed. If you're doing a movement really, really slowly, you'll take more breaths. If you're doing the postures very fast, you may take less breaths over those postures, in which case the in and the out breath will be on different postures. So, we're here, out breath. So you've got to breathe in here, and then breathe out into the major strike. Breathe in as you start to spin, and out into this movement here. Breathe in as you come forward, and breathe out into the strike. This next movement I tend to find usually, for myself, that the timing seems to work nicely, that you breathe in on this posture, and then breathe out into the bear. You could, of course, because that is a strike there, so you could, of course, just bang, you've breathed out, just do a little in breath, and do an out breath if you were doing it a bit more martially. However, because we're doing the form fairly slowly, I would do that as the in breath, because it's a short movement, so it would be a bit much to sort of breathe. There'd be too many breaths, you see. So, this is a really good way to think about breathing with reference to the form. You want to breathe in on the yin component and breathe out on the yang component of the movement or of the series of movements. So let's say, for example, I do none offers food from here. So I'm going to take a little block, like so. That would be the yin component, because that's the defense, and this would be the yang component as we come forward. That would be the in breath and the out breath. However, you can also do two separate postures. So, this would be the yin movement in comparison to this, which is the yang movement. Okay, so that's how you look at breathing through the form. Anyway, I'll give you this rough idea again as we go through. In breath, out breath. Spin around, in breath as you start to spin. And then as you land, you're going to breathe out, and that out breath will carry you into the first hawk posture. So you breathe into there. Breathe in as you turn your foot out, and then of course breathe out as you come forward. Breathe in here, and breathe out into posture. Breathe in as you sit back, and then that's all one out breath as you come forward into that posture. Okay, so from here, we're going to scoop the hands in, take the hand down, you breathe in as you start to scoop, and then as you come into the posture, you breathe out into the posture. You're going to come up into the posture. What did we just do? We breathed out, so you're going to breathe in, breathe out, and then breathe in as you start to come around, and then finish off as normal. Okay, well that's the end of lesson 6, the third palm change. You've still got 5 more palm changes to go to complete the 8 complete palm changes of the circular form. Those are all available on our website. So you've got the first 3 here on YouTube. So if you wish to continue with this training and go on to the final 5 palm changes, have a look in the description of the video and you'll see a link to our website where you can continue the lessons. So I hope that you've enjoyed these lessons and keep up your training. Thank you very much.